The drone mystery has been solved, ladies and gentlemen. And of course, I hate to break it to you, the story is rather boring. The government was doing technology development. That's it. An Air Force base got a contract. They were flying some drones around. People panicked. The documentation was all there for the public for 8 years. I think 6 years. And the local airports and FAA were giving out warnings on these things. There's no mystery, just bad journalism and I guess people being bored. So, I mean, I don't know. Maybe there's something else to it. Maybe it's a cover up. I doubt it. It looks like we got the documents now and no one is surprised to find it's not a story. I think the issue is that Christmas falls on a Wednesday and New Year's falls on a Wednesday. And so everybody knows they're getting 2 weeks of vacation. And so this month is just downtime for everybody. I guess now that we've just ruined the whole mystery and the story for you, you're probably going to leave. But we'll talk about that and more. I mean, you've got a U.S. Senator saying shoot him down. You got Trump saying something similar. And now we're learning they're ours and it's just research. Duh. It's kind of sad, isn't it? So we'll talk about that. And Luigi Mangione has been charged with terrorism in the murder of the United Health CEO. Liz Cheney could be investigated for witness tampering. And then, I don't know, like nuclear war because Ukraine killed a Russian general who was in charge or oversaw nuclear programs. We got a lot to talk about. But, man, I got to tell you, today is probably the slowest news they've ever seen in my life. It's like everybody is checked out already, looking at their watches, just being like, come on, Christmas. I don't blame them. But we're talking about the news. Before we do, head over to castbrew.com, and then you can click 2 weeks till Christmas, Phil's Holiday Blend.
Let's go!
Look at that. Nice. Look at that picture of Phil Labonte, lead singer of All That Remains, dressed like Santa Claus with a baseball cap, Santa Claus cap, or whatever. And he is singing 2 weeks till Christmas. It's a gingerbread coffee. You can grab that now. And if you get it shipped... you should receive it just in time for Christmas, but you gotta order it now over at castbrew.com.
You understand that 2 weeks to Christmas is a play on one of our songs too, right? You guys got to get it. If you have listened to 2 weeks the song, that means you have to get 2 weeks till Christmas.
And then
delicious.
You can keep the bag as a souvenir.
Absolutely.
Also, head over to boonieshq.com and pick up your step-on snack and find out skateboard. These sell out every single time we get them in, and so we've got more in stock now. If you wanted to get one and you weren't able to, boonieshq.com. We may have a larger amount in stock because we keep selling these out. They sell like crazy. But then we also have the next most popular, actually, is the right to arm bears. If you believe that bears should be wearing hats and flannel shirts while carrying shotguns as they mill about the forest, then the Right to Arm Bears skateboard is the skateboard for you over at boonieshq.com. But of course, head over to timcast.com, click join us to become a member and support our work directly. And as a member, you'll get 15% off of Cast Brew coffee for life. You'll also get access to our Discord server where you can hang out with like-minded individuals, and you can check out our uncensored members-only show that's coming up tonight at 10 p.m. So smash that like button, share the show with everyone you know. Joining us tonight to talk about this and so much more is Sam Goodwin.
Tim, thanks for having me. Good to be here.
Who are you? What do you do?
I came here from St. Louis today, my hometown, and I got to admit I was coming out here. I wasn't quite sure where it was going, but it's a great setup here. Yeah, out in the middle of the woods.
What do you do?
So I run my own speaking business. I speak full-time, conferences, conventions, mostly corporate work. I recently put out a book, which maybe talk a little bit about, but that's what's taking up my time today.
Right on. Well, thanks for hanging out. Good to have you. Raymond's here.
Hey, everybody. I'm Raymond G. Stanley, Jr. I do things here at Timcast. I am the resident blue collar and Marine Corps veteran, and I'm excited to talk about slow news today.
Slow news
Phil?
day.
Hello, everybody. My name is Phil Labonte. I'm the lead singer of the heavy metal band All That Remains. I'm an anti-communist and a counter-revolutionary. Tim.
Here we go. The big story from the Daily Mail to ruin all of your dreams, to splash cold water in the face of your exciting mysteries. For all of the women who like watching their true crime or paranormal podcasts, let us put that flame out. Uncovered files reveal secret operation at the center of the drone invasion and why the White House can deny it. Well, despite the fact it's a mundane story that's basically very boring, rest assured the Daily Mail is going to try and make that headline a little bit more sensational. The story is actually really boring. Official records show the Army has been developing and testing counter-terror drones in New Jersey for years, amid claims of a government cover-up. A 2018 defense contract awarded $50 million in private robotics company to develop craft capable of creating 3D maps of urban areas for a counter weapons of mass destruction program. The contract was given out by the Army's Armament Research, Development, and Engineering Center, RDEC, which is located at the Picatinny Arsenal in Rockaway, New Jersey, where mystery drones were first reported last month. Meanwhile, documents show the FAA issued an air restriction alert on November 21st, prohibiting flights over the Picatinny Air Base for special security reasons. The White House has claimed the drone sightings, which coincidentally began on November 18th, are not a foreign adversary, pose no threat, and are not part of a U.S. military operation. Retired CIA intel officer Rudy Rodolfi told Daily Mail this FAA notice shows U.S. drone testing is happening in the area. It's a warning for others to stay out of the area during those dates. While the nature of the testing isn't specified, it's most likely the testing of payloads related to reconnaissance. So, that's it. We've known since 2018 exactly what they're doing. The FAA actually issued warnings over what they were doing. And I got to say, maybe the reason this story happened is because journalists are lazy and going out of business, and no one looked into it until now. But there you go, friends. Literally nothing is happening.
Is it right? Give me some exciting.
You know, there's a conspiracy going viral about how the government was going to use nuclear materials for a false flag as a means to create more lockdowns and scare people. And I was like, this stuff never happens, dude. I got to say, like, I'll take some credit for predicting this, that it was likely some government testing thing. The drones have FAA lights on them. They're regulated properly. And I think it's a combination of, yes, some technology testing from the military, and then a lot of mass hysteria.
I seen today like these Breaking Points and a couple other shows. They had experts on, journalists and experts. So they were really trying to break it down, and no one can actually say what was going on. Everyone was in the dark, and then it's been revealed, and we should have known this the whole time.
Someone in chat said, "LOL." Tim said it was a plane. It was. That's the point. A bunch of the sightings were just airplanes flying over and people were filming them. I watched a bunch of videos where people were posting on X or posting on these other, like, I filmed one of the drones and I'm like, that is a plane. That is just an airplane. There's a commercial 737. You can clearly tell. It's got the lights blinking and it is flying. Well, I mean, some of them were not. But, okay, so again, just to clarify, we now have reporting that since 2018, they have been doing these drone testings in this area, and the FAA actually issued an alert about the drone tests. And so that's probably what people saw in the first place, panicked. Nobody bothered to look into it. And then mass hysteria took hold, and people started filming airplanes and commercial drones. That's a good one, yeah. Elon posted that meme I saw. New Jersey Guide to Aircraft Identification, and it's every single aircraft is a drone.
It's it is interesting the way that once things start being, once there's a few people talking about something, then more and more people are looking and start, misidentifying normal aircraft, which have flown over their heads thousands of times probably, and it's never been a thing. But because curious drones are, at the top of people's mind, they're like, oh, look, maybe that's a drone. Because everybody wants to believe that it's something interesting, right? Like the whole reason this stuff catches on is because everyone is like, maybe it's this secret thing. It's intrigue. Aliens. It's interesting than my normal life, whatever. I mean, it's the same reason that we watch dramas and stuff watch these stories on TV and stuff. But as usual, I
think people are bored.
Yeah.
That's why true crime podcasts and mystery podcasts, and it's why people like conspiracy theories, because life is routine. It is mundane. Mm-hmm. It is exactly what you thought it was. World War III is not starting. There's not a missing nuclear weapon from Ukraine. Or, how about this? They backdated these fake reports.
Yeah, there you go.
To cover up that there actually is a drone crisis.
When you want to believe, you can come up with a story to make it.
Well, did you see those flat earthers who went to Antarctica finally admitted the Earth's not flat?
No, did they?
Oh, how many of them were there? And did they convince any other flat earthers?
Well, I don't know, but the video went massively viral where the guy was like, "Yep, That's 24-hour sun.
Yeah, because they were supposed
Earth is round.
They were supposed to go to the ice wall, right? And they were going to prove, yeah.
And then they end up sitting there under the 24-hour sun, and they're like, how is that possible unless the Earth is round?
Sometimes when the government says things, it's telling the truth.
I know, it's shocking, but
the Earth really is.
But the government isn't telling us the Earth is round. It's just general humans did it.
Fair enough. But it is, the sun rises in the east, sets in the west.
I wonder if
it's a sphere.
I wonder if this is just everybody went nuts over politics for a long time, and it displaced pop culture.
Yeah.
I wonder if now that Trump won the popular vote, Democrats are just spiraling. There's no real mean opposition. Everyone kind of agrees Trump was right. And so now pop culture might just become pop culture again.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
That would be great. I mean, like we talk about the desire is to have the normal Democrats, isolate the crazy leftists and stuff. So it would be nice that if pop culture became, separated from politics, I would love to see it. I heard there's been a lot of people talking on like the regular news, on Fox News and stuff like that about how the big like CEOs and stuff have all been going to Donald Trump and kissing the ring and stuff. And you've got, Joe Scarborough, and you've got, I think the Bezos and stuff. And there's been multiple people that have been going, okay, well, we're going to go talk to Trump and stuff. And I think, I've said before, I think it's a good sign. And it would be great if this were a sign that politics stopped being the thing that everybody was doing, and we could just hang out with people that have different politics and agree that we don't have to agree, but we can still be civil to each other.
One of the first segments we did on this show was a review for Sonic the Hedgehog.
Which one?
The movie.
The first one?
Yeah, the first one.
Okay. The movie.
Yeah, we talked about Skinwalker Ranch, and it was generally just trying to hang out at night and talk about whatever was going on. And then it's 2020, the lockdowns start.
Yep.
And everybody becomes politics. And then we get lockdowns for basically 2 years. So everyone's just screaming politics. Then you get the midterms. Then you get the primaries and Trump's return. And finally, the whole thing exploded on November 5th with Trump sweeping, the Republicans winning everything. And Christmas is so close, everybody is just ready to be like, I'm going to chill.
I mean, I like that.
But there are a lot of people who still don't think that the Democrats will relent or let up. That, when we go on break, so Friday's our last show. We'll be at AmFest in Phoenix for Turning Point USA's year end. It's our third year doing it. I'm really excited. I'm really grateful that Charlie Kirk has us every year. It's one of the coolest things ever. To do our last show of the year on stage in front of this massive audience of thousands of people is amazing. And then we won't be back till January 6th, the day.
Dun, dun, dun.
That's right. The anniversary.
It's going to be.
And we're going to have Lecter and Guy and Richie McGinnis back, 2 veterans.
Oh, perfect. There you
of
go.
January 6th.
Richie's coming back.
Yeah, he's coming back. Yeah, he's been on a million times, but he'll be back, and that will be the day they count the votes for Trump. So the other news, I guess today was the day they certified Trump won.
Oh,
Today was when they actually collected the votes, and they were all submitted by the states, confirming that Trump is the winner of the election. Now we'll see if Democrats throw a fit on January 6th. But I guess I'm curious. Some people have been saying that there's going to be a media collapse across the board. CNN is already facing its like record low again. We'll talk about that in a second. But the argument is the entire media apparatus of independent media has been built upon politics for the past 4 or 5 years. So all of these personalities now have nothing to talk about. What are they going to do? There was a really great example, actually, of someone gave a critique of David Pakman, liberal guy. I don't know if you guys know who he is, where he basically took a mundane interview with Alina Habba and then acted like it was really bad because he had nothing to talk about. He was like, "Oh, she embarrassed herself. It was so bad," and it was like just mundane, normal interview hit, and that's kind of the bet is that. The big spike in viewership that everybody's been seeing over the past couple of years and the growth of these channels, everyone's going to immediately shift over to like Aiden Ross or something or Mr. Beast. And they're just going to be like, yeah, don't need that anymore. We're going to watch video games again. And that's it.
It would be great. What's your sense, Sam? Do you feel like the temperature has changed since the election, or is that something that you're cognizant of? Or
I mean, I think a little bit. I mean, I'm pretty optimistic about what's ahead, but still a lot to be seen. It'd be interesting to have Richie back here on January 6th and see what he has to say. I know he was here last night. He left his book here, so
Yeah.
I was happy about that.
then yeah. I mean, like I said, I mean, I'm hopeful, but I don't know.
Well, the argument people are making is they're like, what are you going to do, Tim, when politics is not a thing? We're going to talk about movies and stuff. I don't know. It's what we were doing before politics. And then they forced us to do it. And it is offensive, deeply. Like I said, I've been saying this for years. Like one of the first shows we were talking about was just like, hey, Sonic the Hedgehog came out. Like, let's chill and hang out. We're friends. And then politics took everything over. I'm like, I have a political show. It's in the morning. Yeah, that's always been the case.
It's not like the like politics is what we desire to be talking about. It's pop culture and stuff like that is what we're doing here. And so, or just, social commentary. So there's always going to be the news to talk about, whether or not it's political news or not isn't necessary.
Let's jump to the story from the Post Millennial. Disney's Pixar cut trans storyline from upcoming series, says parents would rather discuss issue on their own terms.
You do not say.
When it comes to animated content for a younger audience, we recognize that many parents would prefer to discuss certain subject with their children on their own terms and timeline.
Yes.
Indeed.
Yes.
They say after years of blah, 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 Pixar's Win-Lose series saying that perhaps parents should blah, blah, blah. Who wrote this? Libby. Come on, Libby, don't bury the lead. Win or Lose is a long-form series from Pixar, the first animation studios made. It was meant to showcase a trans storyline, but that has since been quashed. So we have this from Deadline. Win or Lose, transgender actress speaks out after Disney cuts her storyline. Very disheartened. I was exactly what they wanted to a T, and that's why it felt so right. It just felt so right. I immediately asked my mom if I could do it because it felt like if I don't do this, it wouldn't make sense. You know what I mean? Stewart eventually scored the voiceover job for Win or Lose, which revolves around a co-ed softball team in the middle school named the Pickles in the week leading up to their big championship game. Stewart couldn't wait to share the news with her friends. And then they canceled it because woke is broke and nobody wants to make this stuff anymore. So I'm wondering where we go from here, because it seems like all the big companies have gotten the message. Bud Light, Target. Now you've got Disney, who lost $1 billion. You got the Volvo commercial, got the Apple commercial. Guys, it feels like the dam has broken. Or I'll tell you this. Before the election, we didn't know what was going to happen. After the election, it is a snowball that was knocked off the cliff. And by now, it is a 10-ton boulder of ice rolling down this mountain. With Disney canceling these storylines and more companies basically saying, we're not going to do this woke stuff anymore, seems like absolute victory is fast approaching. I mean,
there's a lot of people that are really, really unhappy with the idea of corporations like Disney, essentially planting seeds in their children's head. If your kid has inclinations to be gay or something like that, they're gonna want to explore it there, and hopefully, if you've got a good relationship with your kid, they'll want to talk to you about it. But Pixar, putting this stuff into movies, in essence, it's like it's back to the old centering the margins, and I don't understand why. Well, I mean, it's a political ploy, but you as a society, we should not want companies to be centering the margins. We should want companies that produce content that's for everybody. That's not specifically for people with gender dysphoria or with people that are gay or bisexual.
If they stop doing it and just make content that is for everybody, including LGBTQ people, instead of only for LGBTQ people, they will make more money. And if they don't, they will go out of business. And I could give a damn.
One of the best things, I think that's why we try so hard for, was to get Trump, to win. Because once he won, since that day, man, since he won and he got the mandate, everything feels like everything's changing for the better for us, for mankind, for culture, for the world. That was what we needed to get over the hump, to get over the hill. I feel like
a vibe shift. A lot of people that were previously quiet. I think even in Hollywood and that whole scene, and probably you can talk to this as well, Phil. They kind of just I mean, everyone's mad at them saying, oh, you should be mad at these people for like having been scared to come out of the woodwork before, but now they feel emboldened and now they're willing to. We shouldn't be like saying, rebuking them and telling them off for coming out and standing up against it. We should finally be like, yes, normalize it. It's fine to like Trump. It's totally normal. You previously thought it was scary. Now you've seen the numbers. Now you've seen everyone vote for it. It's fine. Talk about it. It's good for us.
Yeah, I think what we see here and what's been happening right now, there are a lot of people that are celebrating. We did it. We won. You know, CNN's ratings are the worst they've ever been. And, you know, the rise of independent media, it's the podcast presidency. Yeah. We are 6 months out, I guarantee you, from all these big networks hiring liberal pundits on massive salaries and putting billboards up in New York and dumping $20 million on YouTube to take this space away.
It is an there is an ideology on the left, and just because there has been a backlash against it from the average person doesn't mean that the left doesn't want to get back to pushing that ideology. You know, if they have if there is a plan on the left to have a certain segment of society be the focal point, and there's a pushback on it, that doesn't mean that they're going to stop. That just means that they'll go ahead and they'll lay off for a little while, and then they'll start pushing again, maybe in a different manner. But it's still going to be the ideology that they want to see brought to fruition, because there are people on the left that are so ideologically possessed that you could say, no, that's a religion. You could easily mistake it for a religion when it comes to people that are looking for a restructuring of society, you know?
Yeah.
You've been in a lot of places as well. Do you have like contacts that have maybe observed this? I'm sure that you maybe have people that are like, you know, in your life that have maybe seen this happen in other countries. Because what I've personally seen, even in other countries, I know it's the American election, but let's be honest, like that's watershed for the world, for the planet. How do you feel about that? Have you seen anybody that's been talking about it in any of your spheres?
Kind of related to that, like one thing that I've learned from my travels is that so many people, despite everything that happens and there's all these things going on, so many people still want to be American. And I think there's more, you know, before I've traveled to every country in the world, there's more opportunity here than anywhere else, and I think that a lot of people see it that way. And so we've a lot of good things happen, still a lot of things to work out, but that's one thing that I always think about is just the way that people still want to be American, and I think a lot of that revolves around the opportunity that's here.
Totally. I mean, like a lot of this stuff.
You lived in Singapore. You've been around the world.
Yeah, totally. But I mean, like all this stuff too is like they're cutting the trans storyline and stuff like that. They're kind of going back to like what is essentially saying it's okay to be American. That used to be like human? Used to be to be human, literally. But it used to be so uncool to say like, oh, I like being American. Like I remember like 4 years ago, if you said, oh, I like being American, all the lefties in Hollywood freak out, being like, what? Oh, you like being a colonizer and all this nonsense? It's nonsense. But
nobody wants to live in this world, man. This is what we've been talking about for a long time. People just want to go to the bar. They want to order some wings. You know, they want to get ranch. Blue cheese is gross.
No,
you guys are wrong. They want carrots, not celery, because celery is anti-food.
That's good.
And they want to watch a sporting event. They want to watch UFC. Yeah. I want to watch UFC. Some people watch football. And we've been trapped in this world because the people who hate Donald Trump couldn't shut up about it. And the media wanted to make money off of it. CNN literally hired a guy to do entertainment when Trump came in to turn the whole news industry into WWE. And we're just over here being like, how do we get back to, I don't know, watching a movie about a train with a face that needs to discover what it means to be a train instead of a train that's gay.
He's got to get over that hill, that train. You know, it's working hard. You know, what's I think I can. Go back to that, to being betting yourself.
When did Up come out?
Jeez.
Oh, that was...
What year?
I'm looking.
2011? Probably. Someone Google the movie Up. And I'll be honest, like that movie's actually not good except for the first 10 minutes. 2009?
Yeah, the beginning of it, right?
Yeah, the beginning of Up is like one of the best movies ever, but the rest of it is just kind of like, okay, I guess.
Get off the balloons, bro. Let them go.
And I don't even remember the rest of the movie, to be honest. It was like a mad scientist or something is trying to steal their house. I have no idea.
You know, to your point,
it was good.
Yeah. To your point about, you know, people wanting to see, you know, just be entertained and be able to escape from the day-to-day slog. One of the really bad things about the politicization of everything was the fact that you couldn't escape. It seeped its way into movies. It became
Commercials everywhere.
such a part of pop culture where you couldn't watch television shows without having the message be shoved down your throat. You can't watch movies. And there are whole franchises that people have said, I don't want to watch that stuff anymore. The Star Wars franchise has
They ruined it.
They destroyed a lot of people. They ruined a lot of people's
Who was
interest.
they though?
The people that were writing the bad movies, Tim.
So you're talking about a dominant group of people in Hollywood who write movies.
Writers. Writers.
See, I was trapping you in the corner.
Yeah, so I mean the writers and the people that were ideologically possessed and believed that their job wasn't just to tell good stories, but was to tell people how they're supposed to think in these stories. They wrote bad movies and they destroyed properties.
I think it started off with you get some TV show in like the 2000s and some producers like, I have an idea to get us attention. And what's your idea? We're going to make a gay character. And they're like, ooh, that's risque, you know? Like Star Trek, the first one, you had Uhura do the first interracial kiss on TV. And ooh, that was a big deal, you know, back then. And they were like, we could have that moment. And then you basically get literally everybody being like, well, every relationship in the show has to be gay. Like, there's no... what was it? You guys ever watch Jessica Jones?
No.
First season, yeah.
So, like, there's a cop side character in it. And they don't really mention his relationship status. And then on the last season, all of a sudden, Jessica Jones has an employee who's trans, and the cop is talking about his boyfriend. And I'm like, what? Now, well, hold on there a minute. Like, why did you have to just jam those things into a story where it didn't exist? Jessica Jones didn't have a receptionist. She worked by herself because she's antisocial with a drinking problem. Now she has a transgender receptionist. Like, it's just fine, I guess. It's just okay. And then the cop who's been helping her, all of a sudden, he's having problems with his boyfriend. And I'm like, wait, why? I want to watch a show where the superhero jumps in the air and punches the giant lizard. Okay, you know, I deal with this stuff enough.
Yeah.
In my day to day. I'm not gonna go to the movies and watch this stuff.
But that's the sentiment that a lot of people, I think, have is, why are you putting this stuff into the shows that I enjoy, or into you're making the stories that I enjoy about something that I have no reason to care about because, you know, I'm not LGBT or whatever, you know.
Yeah. I'd like to say we're winning, but let's jump to the story from Deadline. And I'll start by saying this. First, let me read the headline. Conservative documentary, Am I Racist? Snubbed by Oscar doc voters despite claiming box office crown. I'll start by saying, you know, we've won a lot, ladies and gentlemen. Disney just announced, we were talking about in the previous segment, they're getting rid of that transgender storyline. Woke is broke. Target regrets it. Bud Light regrets it. They ain't never going to recover. And so with the political victories, the cultural victories, we are charging ahead, and we need to make sure that we keep on doing this. But then you get this story, and I don't know if anyone expected anything different, to be honest. Matt Walsh made one of the best comedies I've seen in probably a decade plus. If you haven't seen Am I Racist, you need to, because despite them calling it a political documentary, it's not really. It's Matt Walsh playing a character where he wants to do the work and learn how to not be racist or be anti-racist, whatever, and it's slapstick comedy. I tell people, like, an example of one of the jokes is that Matt Walsh is carrying a stack of plates and he trips and he drops them. That's it. He doesn't preach anything. And they do, there's a really funny bit where everybody's seen this already. He convinces Robin DiAngelo to pay reparations to his black producer. And they show on screen how much money they paid her to do this. And it's like $15,000. And then when she hands $35 over, the number goes down. It was really well done. But they weren't saying anything overtly political. They were showing it to you and making fun of the whole scenario. I'm not surprised to see that they submitted for the Oscars, as they should, because it is one of the most successful documentaries in decades, and it was an amazing comedy. And they say that Am I Racist?, the controversial documentary that satirizes diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives, failed to make the Oscar shortlist of nonfiction features today, despite earning more money at the box office than any other documentary this year by far. The film was directed by Justin Folk, featuring Matt Walsh going undercover to infiltrate DEI seminars. Yes, but they're making it seem like it was a serious documentary. His character in the film, a caricature of himself, is trying to do the work to be anti-racist. There's a Matt Walsh fight scene. Wait, you guys have seen it, right?
Yeah.
They
I missed that.
when they reenact Jussie Smollett with Matt Walsh and he's fighting the MAGA bros.
Yes.
Now that the movie's been out, I don't mind to spoil it, but it's unsurprising to see in Hollywood, in these institutions, they are still trying to say no. So what I'll say right now is we've had tremendous victories across the board. We now have to entrench everything we're doing as the institution. Now's the time where we have to
Forward the line.
yes, but and specifically, we need ubiquity. Matt Walsh and Daily Wire attempted an Oscar. Makes sense. You want to infiltrate their institutions and say, hey, look, we play by the rules. We made a documentary. It made a lot of money. It was at the box office. What's the problem? Well, they say we don't want to have you because it's gatekeeping. I tell you, what you need now, because the Democrats are going to do this, mark my words, they've got to put up billboards and TV commercials for Matt Walsh's show.
His regular show.
His regular show. Rumble needs to do this. Daily Wire needs to do this. We need to do this. Everybody needs to be doing this. I remember when I worked at Vice, my cousin texted me saying that she was watching Hulu and then all of a sudden heard my voice and looked up and saw me in a Vice commercial because Vice had done a big TV and digital commercial run. That's ubiquity. They got ads and billboards put up in all of these cities, and that tells people we are number one, we are the best, we are in control, we have the power. Independent producers in these companies have not been doing that. That's why I think Am I Racist, which was a massive success because they went into theaters.
Yep.
And I was in a theater in D.C. in a deep liberal area, and it was packed with people laughing and watching this film. I'm like, this ubiquity is everything. The people who come into a movie theater and see the poster for Matt Walsh, Daily Wire should be buying billboards in Times Square. It's not that expensive. They can easily afford it. They should be putting up billboards in every major city. They should be buying digital commercials on YouTube TV and other cable channels. They should have and they've been doing this. Don't get me wrong. They had commercials running on MSNBC. This ubiquity is where we need to go next, lest the Democratic machine, the uniparty machine, is going to turn around and say, why are we giving Rachel Maddow $25 million for 30,000 viewers when we could put $5 million into insert liberal YouTuber and then put billboards up everywhere and tell people that is the narrative you have to maintain.
When you're ahead and you have the opportunity to score, you keep scoring.
Amen.
You keep scoring and you keep scoring and you run the score up as lopsided as you possibly can. And there are a lot of people that used to get mad when the New England Patriots.
I was going to bring that up. Yeah.
They'd be ahead and they would keep just doing everything they could to score and score and score and score. People really got mad. But if you look at the way that the Patriots played, even when they were down, they fought like they were up. They did the exact same thing. It was the AFC Championship game, I think. I forget which game it was, but they were down they were down by like 30 points.
Super Bowl they were down by Atlanta by like 30 points at halftime.
That's what it was. It was the Atlanta. And at halftime they were down by like 30 points.
Yeah.
And they came back to win because they have the attitude of when you have the opportunity to score, you keep scoring. If you're ahead, you keep scoring, and that's how you make sure that the people that you just got ahead of, they don't come back. Atlanta dropped the ball, and they didn't keep shoving the ball down the Patriots' throat, and the Patriots were able to come back because Atlanta dropped the ball. When you're ahead, you have to keep scoring because your opponents are not going to stop. Just like Tim said the other night, at some point, Disney's going to dump a bunch of money into this space and try to take over the space. They're going to find.
That's why they're not letting Matt Walsh in.
Yeah.
The attitude of these people in Hollywood right now are like, they're winning. They're making massively successful films, music. We need to reclaim the space. So they're in their mind, it's hold the line. Yes, we see the success, but do not give them space.
Yeah.
They want 6 months from now to recoup and reassess. They don't get rid of DEI, they rename it. Disney is recoiling with like these storylines because they know they're losing money. Crazy thing here is that Disney apparently is losing viewers on Disney Plus, and they're losing sponsors because nobody watches any of the stuff on there. So, I'm chilling.
And it's not just like, I mean, obviously, like the point of this is that they were shut out. But I saw that I believe it was Billboard gave Ronnie Radke's band FIR, I forget the name, Falling in Reverse. He gave them the Artist of the Year, and Ronnie is outspokenly not woke. He's very against the woke stuff, and so one of the biggest bands in the music industry right now, or at least in the hard rock industry, is completely against the message that's been coming out of the entertainment industry for the better part of the past 10 years or so. So there are victories that are happening, and there's a lot of people that are going to respond to that and say, you know what, the whole woke stuff, I'm over it. But it took a grassroots effort to do that first. It took people that were willing to take that risk. Falling in Reverse is a huge band right now, but 6-7 years ago, and they've been around for ages, 6-7 years ago, they were playing clubs. They were playing venues that are 1,000 caps, and now they're selling out 16,000, 17,000 seat arenas. But it's because they were ahead of the curve, and they're trendsetters, So I think that the general population, like we kind of all feel it and see it. Everyone's over hating America. Everyone's over the woke stuff. You look at the way the businesses are responding, and there's a lot of energy and excitement about the future for the U.S.
But how do Democrats respond to this? Right? They can't keep doing what they're doing. They can't just keep making these woke storylines that nobody wants to watch, where they're burning money. They can't do these Dylan Mulvaney things where they lose a third of their market share in a month, but they have to do something. They can't just agree with Trump. Fetterman's trying it. Yeah. Come out publicly, publicly stating like, oh, the Republicans, they do okay. And I think Democrats went too far left. And then he goes to the Senate and he just votes on whatever Democrats want. So he's publicly acting like he's more moderate and understanding of the the right and the conservatives, and then he's
still
forwarding the line for Democrats.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know that I have an answer. I would like to see more moderation when it comes to the policy from the left. I don't know that we're going to get it.
I don't know what they have left. Like they're losing the middle class workers. They're losing a lot of what their old base is, and they're just now they have their small minority of fringe far leftists and/or terrible policymakers.
Yeah, like who's the base of the Democrat Party going forward?
They got nothing.
They got nothing.
Hasan Piker.
They're split. Yeah, that's.
I'm not kidding. Let's pull the story up. I talked about it earlier. Here you go from Fox News. Top Harris aide hypes radical activist who said America deserved 9/11 while plotting the future for Democrats. House Democrat called Hasan Piker a poster child for the post-October 7th outbreak of anti-Semitism in America earlier this year. Sure. But now you have a Harris aide saying that they need more. Fox is really not happy with Hasan. Okay.
I'm glad they aren't.
So let me just try and give you the statement from this Democrat without the flair. I'll give you the Fox News flair in a second. Quote, "We need this whole thriving ecosystem." Flaherty told Semaphore, "It's not just Pod Save America, though I think we should have more of them. It's not just Hasan Piker. We should have more Hasan Pikers. It's also the cultural creators, the folks who are one rung out, who influence the nonpartisan audience. Those things all need to happen together."
Yeah.
So they're not,
idea.
Fox says, a top aide for Vice President Harris's failed campaign recently called for more cultural voices like vocal anti-America, anti-Israel Twitch star Hasan Piker, who previously faced backlash for saying America deserved 9/11.
Do the Democrats really want to hitch their wagon to someone that is anti-American? And Hasan is openly anti-American. Yes. He is clearly anti-American.
Would you call him anti-Semitic? I don't watch enough of his stuff to know that he's ever actually done, like how far he's gone to that. I know he's anti-Israel.
Yeah.
Right? And there's a distinction, of course. Mm-hmm. But and then there also is, for a lot of people online, an overlap. I don't know what Hasan's positions are to say he's I know he's anti-Israel. Yeah. But the reason I ask is because with the Twitch adpocalypse, all these people are losing all of their revenue, all their income because of accusations of anti-Semitism. And I'm kind of being like, Is that just advertisers who don't know the difference and are scared? Or are there actually people on Twitch who are going outright full on?
He does tolerate it at the very least. One of his mods, Frogan, she's anti-Semitic purely. There's no question.
I think I don't know if she's still there.
Oh, yeah. Frogan came up in the Twitch apocalypse.
Yeah, that's right. And I don't know if she's still there or not. Actually, I know she got removed for a period of time for what she had done and what she had said.
What did she do?
Basically just saying,
stuff.
yeah, anti-Semitic
Jews?
stuff.
So-
it's always weird how like this horseshoe has come back around, like the far left and far right are meeting on like, oh, it's the Jews, and it's just where we're at now.
Okay, so I don't know if she's currently his mod, but I know that she was for a long time, and she was anti-Semitic for a long time, purely anti-Semitic. There was no I don't like Israel. Okay. It was overt anti-Semitism. And he tolerates that. He at least allows someone like that to be his moderator. So maybe he's not anti-Semitic, but he doesn't have.
I don't know. So. All I'm saying is, this is a guy that's been accused of being responsible for the adpocalypse on Twitch. So I would just like to say to all the Democrats, you need Hasan Piker and more of them, because the donors are going to dump. They're going to stop donating. You already saw a massive collapse of the Democratic Party over the pro-Hamas faction of the progressive left. And it's fascinating how a lot of these people try to play this dirty game. Dude, if you tell me you're critical of Israel, I say, tell me more. If you tell me you're critical of Israel and you blame the Jews, I'll say, now hold on there a minute. You were allowed to criticize a government in a country. The issue is, after October 7th happened, all sane, rational people are like, this is horrifying. We don't want this to happen. This needs to be stopped. And you had people in Times Square celebrating it, cheering, saying that freedom fighters had descended on the occupying force. And when people would come out and say they're celebrating Hamas, they're anti-Semitic, many of the liberals and leftists say, you can't say that. They're criticizing Israel, not the Jews. And it's like, dude, they're anti-Semitic. Like, I am drawing a distinction between the people who are like, I think Israel is going too far. It's like, okay, let's have a conversation about a government and its military actions. And then there is the far left that are overtly blaming Jews and cheering on Hamas and Hezbollah.
Yep.
So that is a problem for Democrats. I don't know where Hasan falls in that because I don't really follow his content.
Ditto.
Probably should, though, because he's substantially more prominent than Rachel Maddow.
Right. Who cares about CNN and MSNBC anymore because they're lost. But Rob Flattery, Democrats, he should definitely, I agree with you, Tim, he should get promoted because he did great work with Harris campaign, and he's going to do, he should maybe the head of the DNC.
He should handle the recruitment for their new thriving ecosystem of cultural creators.
It's going to be so successful.
Let me ask you guys this. Who do you think will be the candidate in 2028 for the Democrats?
AOC.
Probably Gruesome Newsom, maybe.
I don't know.
I just don't know because they like
4 years is a long time.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So what you want to do right now is we got 4 years. Where are the 35 to 38-year-olds who are rising stars in the Democratic Party? I'm not quite
Richie
sure
Torres.
Buttigieg?
I don't know that Richie Torres will be the guy, but that's
Fetterman.
that's someone that I mean, it could be.
I mean, maybe.
Fetterman Cortez, 2028.
What do you think, sir?
No, I don't know the answer.
okay.
I'm just talking about the future of the Democrats. I think it's a question that I don't know the answer to.
Richie Torres. I think Richie Torres. If you don't know who he is, take a look.
I don't know who he is.
He's one of the handful of guys that have been speaking out against the far left influence. He's from the Bronx. He's got a lot of.
Is he based or is he cringe?
Well, he's a Democrat,
So he's cringe.
I mean, are there any base Democrats?
Yeah, I don't know.
Local ones.
Ro Khanna's all right.
Yeah.
Like
I can dig Ro.
Ro Khanna's defended free speech, but he's also not at the same time. Like there's been some issues where Ro's been rather reasonable, and I can respect that. You know, I don't want to say none.
I think that's where he would fall in.
AOC will say whatever her audience tells her to say.
Yeah.
So if we just basically 51% attack her Twitter account, then she'll just completely go MAGA.
I thought that she already had because of the way that the voting panned out in her district.
Well, not full MAGA, but You know, for those who don't know what a 51% attack is, it's when you control 51% of nodes in a decentralized system so you can control the direction it moves. The idea would be if 51% of AOC's followers and responses are from people who are like, AOC, we're huge fans of yours. Did you know that Trump is good? And you basically do that until she's like, I'll just say whatever you want me to say, because that's who she is.
Didn't Nancy Pelosi just tell her she can't get on? She got for the chair of the oversight committee.
Yeah,
I believe they
AOC lost that.
they stopped her.
it was they went with a 70-something-year-old guy. The guy, he's got cancer, and people
geez.
like Emma Vigland are up in arms about it. So it's
Well,
hilarious.
we do have that one pulled it up. We'll pull that one up in a second.
Well, I hope they keep doing what they're doing if they're going to keep doing stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't know how the Democrats recover. I really don't.
Well, this
So wait, like,
Yeah.
I don't know if I should save this for the next segment, but we've long lamented we've long feared the Democrats would create a uniparty system in this country, a literal, a single party that controls everything, and it's communist. Is that just going to happen with the Republican Party because the Democrats have basically imploded?
I don't think so, because I think that there is a civil war going on in the Democrats right now, in the Democrat Party right now. I think that you have people on the far left that are represented by people like Hasan, people probably like AOC, and their argument is we should have gone further left. Their argument is Kamala Harris was too conservative.
Yeah, be more aggressive.
She was too much of a corporate hack. Blah blah blah. We should have gone further left. Now, all of the indicators are that they're wrong. That they wouldn't, if the Democrats had gone further left, they would have lost in a more dramatic way than they did. But the argument they make is, the progressives actually stayed home. They didn't come out and vote for Kamala Harris. So actually we would have done better. I think they're wrong, but that's what the argument is. So the Democrats need to figure out what they're going to do. Are they going to go with a more progressive policy? Are they going to go more progressive like Hasan
There's
would
nothing.
like? Or are they going to go back towards people like Fetterman and like Richie Torres and stuff like that?
I mean, if the Democratic Party decides to moderate and go to the middle, then you basically just have the Republican Party. Because the Democrats have nothing to offer in contrast to a moderate Donald Trump. Trump coming out and saying, we should secure the border is not an extremist position. The Democrats chose for it to be because they have to offer an alternative.
Yep.
They have to give a reason why Trump is a bad choice, and they don't have one because Trump is moderate. He is not a staunch far-right conservative. He's like a moderate right-leaning guy at this point, and he used to be a Democrat. Now he's only right-leaning because the left has gone nuts. The Democrats have no choice. The only option they can offer is the far left. Otherwise, they're going to come out and they're going to be like, you're going to get Fetterman. He's going to say, well, look, we want the working class to be able to afford groceries. And the Republicans are going to be like, yes, we do too. And under our plan, here's what we did to achieve that. Fetterman, what have you to offer? And he's going to say, the same thing, but vote for me, I guess. And they're going to be like, why? Why change it if it's working?
I mean, well, there's a time where the biggest difference between the Democrats and the Republicans were small things. Everybody in the U.S. was kind of like, yes, we're all against communism except for the furthest extreme fringe on the left. But now, like, even what you would consider left-leaning Democrats, a lot of them are sympathetic to some socialist policies and. When people say things like, we want it like it is in Europe and stuff, not that I want that, but that's what they're saying. They want more social policies that represent maybe a more populist or a more authoritarian bent.
Let's gloat a little bit, my friends. This is a story from the Post Millennial. Democrats reject AOC for ranking oversight committee spot, opt for elderly, infirm Jerry Connelly.
Oh. Poor guy's got cancer.
Okay, I got to say, I feel great and I feel miserable about this, and I'll explain. Quote, I think my colleagues were measuring their votes by who's got experience, who's seasoned, who can be trusted, who's capable on it, who's got a record of productivity. Okay.
Wasn't she the VP, the side of the oversight committee? She was just the
AOC?
Yeah.
I don't know. Let's read. Rep. Jerry Connelly emerged victorious Tuesday in a fight with AOC over who would be the ranking member of the House Oversight Committee. The Democratic establishment ultimately rallied around the 74-year-old Connelly, who defeated the 34-year-old Progressive Squad member by a vote of 131 to 84. Jeez. Connelly has been a member of the committee since 2009, but revealed on November 7th that he is suffering from esophagus cancer. Would it be esophageal cancer? Former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi encouraged her fellow Democrats to oppose AOC's candidacy and back Connelly. So here's why I'm happy. AOC is a bad person. She is a liar. She lied about what happened on January 6th. It's despicable. I'm not kidding. She claimed that there's a knock on her door, so she went and hid in the bathroom.
Say it.
Say what?
Say it.
She went and hid in the bathroom, and then she heard a voice, "Where is she? Where is she?" And oh, thank heavens, it was a cop. But I thought it was the J6ers who found me. That story she told took place an hour before the Capitol had been breached. Yep. So she made the whole thing up. I mean, the story happened, but it was pertaining to an evacuation, not any real fear someone had come for her. She was lying. So no one deserves this more than her to lose. But at the same time, holy crap, the Democrats chose a 74-year-old infirm man instead of the young 35-year-old. This system is broken. The fact that the best the Democrats have to offer in the minority, for the ranking position is AOC, and they still went for the guy with cancer who's 74 and holy crap. I'm so grateful that Donald Trump won. Can we clean this thing up?
Isn't he the guy isn't he going to be like a run-of-the-mill kind of Democrat, though? And that's part of the reason why. Like, AOC probably scares a lot of the donors. And, I mean, Shank was just in here the other day talking about how important the donors are. I mean,
yeah,
I don't have a problem with the Democrats being in disarray, but if you're going to put yourself in the Democrats, if you're going to put yourself in their shoes, they're going to go with someone that doesn't scare the donors. And someone like AOC or someone like Bernie Sanders, their policies are not the kind of, or their desired policies are not the kind of policies that people want to give them millions of dollars to try to implement. So if you're not going to get the money from the donors to actually try to make policy or to get elected so that way you can try and make policy, I don't think that it's a surprise that he gets this.
I think most people are just thinking the same thing. It is only 3 more days till the Christmas holiday begins. Make it go away. I am going to eat pheasant.
Oh, yeah?
I'm not, but you should, because that's Christmas bird, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what they do. Yeah, so that's all that matters. Everybody else is sitting at home being like, only a few more days till we just don't need to think about it. It is funny, though, because there are a lot of people hitting me up being like, what are we supposed to do for 2 weeks without IRL? And I'm like, I don't talk to your family, I guess.
I mean, that's what you'd hope.
I don't like taking time off, but nobody works after Thanksgiving. That's a fact. Yeah. It is after Thanksgiving, everybody phones it in.
Yeah, pretty.
It's like I tell you what, that's what the music industry is. After Thanksgiving, the whole music industry
nothing
basically
happens.
shuts down. Yeah. Nothing's going on. And trying to get people to do any work is a nightmare. So
that's exactly where we're at right now. You know what really offends me more than the AOC Connelly thing? Early November, they were putting up Christmas decorations.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's getting worse every single year. It's like, dude, I love Christmas, but Thanksgiving, man.
Like, wait until Thanksgiving is over.
I think we got to write some Thanksgiving jingles.
Yeah?
Yeah, there's a funny meme where it was like, if you're mad that Christmas is encroaching on Thanksgiving, well, maybe you should write some Thanksgiving bangers.
Thanksgiving jingles.
We got no Thanksgiving music,
Look, man.
Sounds like Christmas is encroaching on Halloween.
It is.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, like right after Halloween,
Christmas
I saw
there.
Christmas stuff going up, and I said, how dare you?
Yes.
And they were like, well, I'm like, no. Thanksgiving. You get to
Thanksgiving.
eat big food.
It does need to get the love.
Thanksgiving's the best holiday. It's all the great things about Christmas, but no responsibility to buy gifts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just you got to order your turkey in advance, and then.
I mean, I'm partial. It's out of season now, but I'm partial to July 4th because you get all the, outdoor eating and outdoor activities.
You guys play a show on July
MAGA
4th?
month? Forget about
No,
it.
I don't want to. I want
man.
to be able to. Yeah, MAGA month. It's
Forget about it.
The birth of the country. I like to spend a lot of time on the lake, and my buddy's got a boat.
Do we have 4th of July music?
We could.
Star Spangled Banner?
Do we only have Christmas music?
Christmas.
What other holidays have music? Is there a Labor Day song?
Valentine's Day?
Oh, there is a Labor Day song. It's the Soviet.
New Year's.
Yeah.
Auld Lang Syne?
Yeah, Auld Lang Syne,
Lang
and
Syne,
nobody knows
yeah.
what that means anyway, and I don't.
And that's only one song too.
Right.
That's the
Yeah.
only.
What is it even
song.
about?
I don't know.
Ald? What does that mean?
Nothing. You got nothing.
All I know is we light fireworks off and we celebrate.
Well, that's the 4th. But
We have Halloween music.
Oh yeah, a lot of spooky music.
lot of
going on.
Monster Mash. You know what I mean?
Yeah. They do the mesh.
That's right. What other songs you got? You got all the Nightmare Before Christmas stuff. Those are classics now.
Yeah, I was putting the tree up, listening to the holiday music mix, and it was actually very enjoyable.
Right, it's nice. You're putting the tree up. You're listening to good holiday music. It's good for the soul.
Yeah, it was. Girlfriend was making hot chocolate.
Definitely making sandwiches. I mean, just kidding.
We need some 4th of July music.
We do.
MAGA music.
I think that's a great idea. Bring something out for next year, guys.
I mean,
Rock
I
and roll.
like that. I guess you could think like American Band by.
I don't know. Like
Creedence.
I'm gonna look it up.
you gotta write the song, and here's the plan. We're gonna write 4th of July jingles, and you have to put in them things like we all grab our sidearms and our rifles, because the point is
Grand Funk Railroad. We're an American.
when you sing like a Christmas song and it's like dashing through the snow on a 1-horse open sleigh or like under the mistletoe, it ingrains that tradition in the minds of the people who celebrate. So now mistletoe is a common thing. You put it up the mistletoe. Oh, you're in the middle. You got to give a kiss. It's like, okay, we need 4th of July music where it's like we have a verse that says, put on your holster and strap your sidearm. This is America. That way people never forget that the right to keep and bear arms is enshrined in the Constitution as an American tradition. And then it's going to be the 4th of July, and they're going to be like, "Oh, you're open carrying. You have to kiss. You have to do it." So if a man and a woman in a relationship are both open carrying, it's 4th of July. You got to kiss now. That's what you got to do. You got to. And if you're a guy, you just give a hug. You get regular old
Fist bumps.
fist bumps. There you
Fist
go.
bumps.
Yeah,
No, hug
body
is
contact.
good.
No,
you
arm's
do
length.
the
Bro hugs.
yeah,
No
two
homo.
back,
No
two
diddy.
pats on the back. No, diddy. I heard about that the other day.
I don't know. I don't know what else you'd want to have in a 4th of July song. I mean,
It's got to be like
flag.
banner kind of is, but I mean, I just think of like good old like 70s pro-America rock songs as that.
you got to
vibe.
but you've got to write a rock and roll song. Rock and roll is probably the genre to go for. Explicitly about starting the journey of the 4th of July. So there'll be a verse in there about fire up the grill, get the burgers going,
Here's barbecue.
beers, barbecue,
Burgers.
with your friends and family, celebrating freedom, liberty.
The sun's up early, and so are you.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then it's got to
Okay,
be
we're
like,
starting already.
driving down the street in my car.
Camarillo or
my
Camaro
guns.
with my guns.
Going to
gotta have
Tim's
the
totally
guns.
gun oriented.
pick up
that's
beers and dogs.
We have to make traditions for the 4th of July. Like I'm gonna tell my kid, I'm gonna be like, well, this is what we do on the 4th of July. Like, we have we take several different magazines from a bunch of different guns and we put them on the door.
Well, I mean, in New Hampshire, we used to have me and a bunch of my buddies. We'd get together and we'd have a machine gun shoot because Rob's got a bunch of machine guns.
Oh, there you go.
And we'd bring them all out and shoot them, like line them up on the table, and you'd have 15 or 20 machine guns, and there's a handful of guys that we knew that had their own machine guns. They'd bring them up, and you'd have a bunch of magazines ready, and
it.
no drinking until the machine guns go away. But
Based. Yeah.
Did you guys know that it was actually an American tradition to gift a loved one a box of ammunition on the 4th of July?
that's a great
Yeah,
idea.
see, the
I heard
tradition
that was a long
began
one, yeah.
because on the 4th of July, with fears of the British regulars coming to the colonies to quell the rebellion,
Yep.
loved ones were trading 50 caliber
Ammo cans.
Ball.
ball. It's just called ball, and black powder to their loved ones, and it became a tradition where on this beautiful day we all go to our friends and we provide them with a box of ammunition that we feel is appropriate.
This is all true. You can check it on
Wikipedia says it's verifiable.
And you have to hang a steel-toed boot on the side of your stairs so that old Sergeant Independence and come and drop a few cartridges for
the
you.
boot.
And you can use it to kick the British tyranny out of your country, out of
It's
your.
too derivative of Christmas, though. It's like the only thing we can think of is just turning Christmas things into not Christmas things.
We got 6 months. Well, you guys got
Figure
you
something out.
guys got like 3 months for your song, but everyone else will figure it out. We
got time.
5 minutes. Yeah,
I think you
plenty
need to
of time.
take.
Plenty of time.
It's tradition to take 3 standard capacity magazines, which is 30 rounds.
30 rounds.
And hang them from your door. And it's a sign to keep away those tyrannical regulars. Now, we don't really fear the British regulars anymore, but did you know that they would hang 50 caliber ball from their doors to let the regulars know that they were armed.
Yeah.
Indeed. And so now it's a tradition where we don't put the real ammo or the guns. We just you put
the magazine.
You put a magazine over the window.
Like painting the blood above the.
It's like a wreath.
Yeah.
Not so dramatic.
Well, no, I was thinking like Passover. They painted the lamb, the blood of the sacrificed lamb or whatever. I don't know.
Someone in chat told us there's a song called Independence Day by Martina McBride.
Yeah.
So there's
okay.
a song.
Remember that one?
What genre is it?
Martina McBride, what does she do? Like,
It's a country song.
okay.
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 Yeah, country works.
Makes sense. Yeah.
It's actually a legit good song.
I think it's got to be rock and roll though, because what's iconic about Christmas music is it's very rock and rolly,
Yeah.
and we don't really write new Christmas songs either. There was like this period in America where they were like, let's just release 15 Christmas songs, and they did, and we just play them on repeat every year.
Around with it ever since.
Yeah, and
Just
we have
Mariah Carey, nonstop.
Yeah.
well,
over
she's
and
the
over.
new. That's the new version.
It's a new one, yeah.
But most of the Christmas songs are what, from like the 50s?
Yeah, at least.
I think we need a St. Patrick's Day song. Actually, no, I think there's a bunch already.
I don't think that I'm allowed to write that.
The whole band, Dropkick Murphys. Just
Exactly. That's what I was going to say.
is
Like basically any one of it. The whole track.
Their whole catalog.
Yeah, literally every song. Road to the Righteous is a great song. I listened to that the other day, by the way. Anybody a fan? Road to the Righteous. Anyway.
Let's jump to this story from the Daily Mail. So actually, I'd like to lead with, hey, here's the news. Luigi Mangione has been indicted on murder charges for the shooting of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson, and I believe it's under a terror statute. So the left, of course, is celebrating this guy. But the news that I find more interesting is that 2 documentaries are already in the works because we are a sick nation. We need a cultural cleansing of sorts, and this is proof that just our culture is in trouble. I'm going to put it that way.
This is why you can't say that the right has actually, won the war or whatever. Like, there are significant advances of people, ideas from the right, but there's a massive amount of people that think that, and it's actually not just people on the left, but there's a massive amount of people that think that it was justified because the health insurance industry is messed up or doesn't produce the results that they think it should. Then it's justified. They're charging Luigi with terrorism, if I understand correctly,
Yes,
which is
I can agree.
exactly what he should be charged with. People are either they're confused as to
Second-degree
why.
Yeah. Second-degree murder with terrorism charges.
Yeah, with terrorism charges.
Yeah.
But the point of him killing the CEO was to get political change. Right? That was the whole point of it. Anytime you use violence to achieve political ends, that is terrorism. That's the
it's
dictionary definition of terrorism. So charging him as a terrorist is the exact right thing to do. And so whatever the punishment for that is, that's what he should have to do.
So right now, I think we're on the verge of culturally we're going to turn inside out and then cease to exist. Something happens in the news, like the train gets derailed in Ohio, and then 3 days later, a book is on Amazon about it. And it's like, dude, come on.
Is that true?
Like, I'm
Or example, okay.
figuratively.
Gotcha,
I
gotcha,
think,
gotcha.
actually, I think that may have happened. Like, within a week or so of that happening, someone put out a book.
Jeez.
Documentary comes out right away, and it's like the true story of what happened. And I'm just like, they're working on 2 high-profile documentaries about this guy already. It's been like 2 weeks. I think we are a bored, listless, faithless people. And we should be striving. This is why I like Elon. He's like, we're going to go to Mars. And I'm like, that's a good thing. Because the technology that comes from space travel is massive. It's not just, so with like the original space program, the Apollo program, we developed a whole bunch of new chemicals and various products through the research and development. That's great that Elon's doing that. We need a country that is focused on achieving a great goal. Instead, it's everybody's just super bored and angry, and they're trying to find purpose where there's none.
Totally. And it's kind of like all the apps are just fueling that.
Yeah.
Just the narcissism is being fueled by these apps. Just constant dopamine drip. You have no drive to go do anything. There's no pressure. There is literally no pressure. There's nothing driving you or pushing you in any direction. So like people just hang out. They just sit and don't do anything and just watch TV and just scroll their phone. It's crazy, but like that's like where the Aldous Huxley thing comes into reality. It's like people are literally just being fed their vices and just falling for it.
Sam, you've been to like 193 countries. Is it your sense that this is something that's unique to the West, or is it something that you would imagine is, or that you think is global, or what?
I mean, I haven't heard about what Tim was talking about, how there was a documentary a week later or a book a week later. So I haven't heard about anything like that.
No. Well, I mean, because it's my sense that there was a leftist push that was international. Like you see a lot in there's a lot in Europe, and now that's why you see the swing back of the pendulum.
Yes.
A lot of that is going on in Europe. I guess the German chancellor, they're beginning the process necessary to have an election next year to get rid of the German chancellor. You've got Trudeau is under fire.
Oh yeah.
The
Italian lady is pretty based, right?
she was elected. There's problems in France, so this is something that's going on, at least all over the West. Tim,
There was I did a quick Google search. Within 1 month of the disaster, there was a book for sale on Amazon, and
This is the train in Ohio.
yeah, and I think there's probably a bunch more.
A month. You'd have to do so much work to get that out.
Because I think that was like we had talked about it. Oh, here's another one. Okay, so there's 2, and then it just starts giving me a bunch of Israel stuff
of course, the juice.
because the city was East Palestine. So
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
I mean, it does feel like a lot of the anger that used to exist is kind of like dissipated. People aren't just like furious about Donald Trump anymore, but like they're definitely not just not doing anything. People are definitely but the thing is, a lot of people that I've seen, at least that are like apolitical people, are now that used to be apolitical before 2020 or 2016 became political, and now are like, it's boring. We've done this for like 8 years. It's not fun anymore. Like riots are like, kind of fun, but like I don't want to do that anymore. So it's like I've just been seeing a lot of people kind of just, kind of give up and want to do something new, or like the politics is getting annoying. It's frustrating for them.
it's like they were casuals. They weren't actually.
Yeah, they were casuals, definitely.
Sam, you speak a lot about uncertainty. Is there any kind of uncertainty in the future of what you see going on in America, or what can be certain?
I don't know if anything can be certain right now. I'm not exactly sure how we as a country deal with all of that at the moment, but yeah, I'm not quite sure right now.
If someone was uncertain, how would they deal with their lives?
So the main things that I talk about are 3 key things. 1 is to lean into gratitude and have a perspective. 2 is to control the things we can control. And the 3rd is to recognize these uncertain times as an opportunity to grow. Those are the key things that I talk about. I'm not sure if it's relevant here, but those are the main things that I talk about.
It's definitely relevant.
Yeah, I think that's kind of relevant all the time, because at least to some degree, you're talking a lot of like the stuff that you're talking about there is stuff that the Stoics were talking about. Like, don't worry about things you can't control. And I think if people had a little more focus on their own lives and less focus on trying to save the world, and this is something that Jordan Peterson talks about all the time when he's like doing the whole clean your room thing, like focus on the things that you can do something about. And if you have small successes in your life, that will alleviate the anxiety that you're feeling that is leading you to think we've got to change the whole world. We've got to do, there's so many big things. If you're 22, 23 years old and you've done nothing in your life, it's probably not a good idea to take on global hunger. That's a big one.
Bigger fish to fry.
Yeah, I mean, you've got things that are more immediate in your life that you probably, need to take care of. I'm sure there's some mold somewhere under your bed or something that you might want to, and so I do think that
Dude, if Asmongold can clean his house,
that was huge.
he deserves kudos for that.
If he can do it, anyone can do it.
That's right. So,
Seriously.
I've seen this before, photos they shared.
Yeah, it's
Holy moly.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
I can't imagine how you can be that rich and have a house like that. Like, what are you doing?
I mean, that's kind of speaks to what I'm saying. Like, there's just like this blasé, like there's just this, it's ennui, like what Tim's saying. Like, there's just like nothing drives anybody. There's nothing to care about. Like you always say, like if people are comfortable, there's no revolution. Yeah. No one's going to do anything about it. That's the same for us too. People won't do anything if everything's too comfortable.
it's the 4th turning in some respect.
True.
Like we fight. There's a reason why Fight Club resonated with so many people, and given the opportunity, I will always shout out Dickie Barrett, because I was talking to him about the impression that I get that song. You know, it's a never had to, but I better knock on wood. What a great song.
Yeah.
He was saying it was about how when he was young, there was no great battle.
Yeah.
That the generation before him had Vietnam, that there was Desert Storm, but he in the mid to late 90s was just like, here I am enjoying all the wealth and prosperity, and I've never been challenged.
Yeah.
Knock on wood, I hope I'm not. And that's what he's talking about. Like, you know, I don't know if I'm a coward. I'm afraid of what I might find out. There's been no great challenge. We had the victory in our hands, and what happens then is you become listless. A generation of people with no purpose, no great quest, no great challenge. It is unfortunate, but the reality is you need hardship.
Totally.
People need a challenge to push against. It's actually quite simple. Humans have developed and invented their way out of needing to lift heavy things. So we have to pretend bodies need to survive. Guys who don't lift, their testosterone goes down, which results in vision problems and joint problems, depression. Because it used to be back in the day, you were carrying the carcass of the elk back to your camp.
So,
Or bear.
Cutting down trees.
So
That's right.
on January 31st of next year, we're releasing a new record, and the record is called Anti-Fragile, which speaks to exactly what Tim is talking about. The whole point of the title Anti-Fragile is human beings need resistance to grow.
Right.
Right. The astronauts that go to space, they spend a significant amount of time in contraptions that allow them to do cardio and work their bodies because there's no gravity in space, and you will lose bone density.
Yep.
And your muscles will deteriorate extremely fast if you're not doing that stuff. When people want to get better at something, it's hard.
Yeah.
Like when you're learning,
Starting off, right?
when
starting
you're
off is
learning a
tough.
new instrument, like learning how to play an instrument or learning how to do anything, it's difficult. And that stimulation, that stimuli, that effort that you put in makes you better. And it takes resistance to make yourself better. And if that is part and parcel with being a human being. You have
life,
to have, it's part of life.
Everything. Like,
Absolutely.
if you remember, like those crazy like labs they did where they try to keep like humans inside pods.
Yep.
They had trees growing, and this is a famous story people probably know about. The trees were always falling over, and the reason was there's no wind. Trees literally need wind in order to keep themselves up. You need resistance to grow. I don't know why wherever we lost this at some point in history.
I forget what it was. There was a someone had done some kind of farming of trees, but they didn't have the wind.
Right. No wind, they fall
and
over.
the wood was no good to use.
Yeah.
Like you couldn't do anything with the wood because it wasn't strong.
You ever see those trees that grow in this ridiculously windy cliff top, and all of the branches are just
Yep.
Straight
just
over.
horizontal in one direction? It's like a stump and then like a letter F.
And the wood is it's extremely
Rigid.
solid. It's really rigid.
Bulky.
And that's just the way of reality because we talk about it, or we were just talking about it when it comes to human beings, but that is a feature of the real world that we live in. Resistance makes you stronger. And again, it's not just people. It applies to trees. It applies to all life forms.
Sometimes I think about what I call the sine curve. You guys remember trigonometry?
Yeah.
Remember the sine curve? It's this never ending up and down radio wave. And sometimes I think about what I characterize as the sine curve of life. And essentially at the top, it's important to have humility and awareness and gratitude and these things. But nothing deeply good emerges from the top. It's always at the bottom of the curve where all the growth happens. And at the top, what's certain is you're coming down. At the bottom, you're coming back up.
Yeah.
It's important to have that perspective because at the bottom, that's where it's important and that's where all the growth happens.
Yeah, all of the bad things that have happened in my life, or whether it be my personal life or my career or whatever, they've always been the thing that inspired me to do something better and achieve more.
I think if we're all honest with ourselves, I think we would say that our personality today, the very essence of our life, is a result of those challenges that we faced and the choices we made
Definitely.
as a result of those challenges, not because of the good times that we've had.
Bro, it's like we were talking about before the show. How I said, like, when you get like luck or whatever, it's opportunity meeting preparation. If you don't prepare for something and you get something given to you, you can't be ready for it. You're not going to take advantage of it the right way. You're not going to get anything from it. So you should always be getting prepared.
And that's why I always preach to the young folks of the world. Like, if they're lost, if you need some resistance, you need an obstacle, you need a challenge. I suggest the military, because you're going to get that in the military. Maybe some other places, but if you join the military, you're stuck. You're stuck for at least 3-4 years that you have no choice in the matter but to make yourself better and/or fail.
Yeah, or become a lot better. Seen a lot of people join the military and become like way better people.
It's the best thing for young people.
Yeah.
Even if you can up until 28 plus.
Civil service, anybody?
Conscription for everyone.
Actually, quick thought on that. So in the NCAA now, because of like COVID and the way a lot of things. So I played hockey in college. So I'm talking a little bit about specifically hockey, but other sports too. It's now very easy for players to transfer schools. They can just
super easy.
Whereas before, like when I was playing, transferring was like essentially not an option because you had to sit out a year. But now these players can transfer as quickly, basically as much as they want to. And what I think a lot of these coaches are learning is that it's previously a coach could be very hard on a player and they would have to fight through that adversity and get better. And that was oftentimes where they grew the most, was from fighting through those challenges. But now today, anytime a player's facing any kind of adversity, they just pull the chute and leave. And things have changed on that front. And so I think there's some missed opportunities there.
Yeah. It's important to, and I don't know that it's something that parents should be instilling, or if it's something that is in some people and not in other people, but it's important to have that kind of attitude that says, if I fail, I'm going to try again. Right? Like, there are plenty of things in my life that, didn't work out the way that I wanted them to. And every time that something negative has happened, or something that didn't work out the way that I wanted to, it wasn't like, oh, well, I guess I got to stop doing this. If I stopped trying to be in a band the first time that I didn't get something that I wanted, the first band I ever tried out to be in, I wasn't good enough. And I just hadn't been playing long enough, and they were like, nah, we're going to go with another guy. And thankfully, 6 months later, they hit me up and they were like, yo, that guy didn't work out. Are you still interested? And I was like, yeah. But like, if I had quit playing guitar, I wouldn't have had a 20-year career in the music industry.
You can probably pinpoint those spots too, those like disappointments.
Yep.
And then how many good things would come from them.
Yeah, absolutely. Plenty of them. So it's important for people to, it's cliche to say, when you get punched in the face, get knocked down, get up. But that Rocky,
that speech?
Yeah, the speech that he's given to his kid, he's like, look, the important thing is how many times you can get knocked down and keep getting up. That's how winning is done. That is exactly right. That is how you win. It's not because you are invincible and you don't get knocked down and it doesn't hurt, and it's not that. It has nothing to do with it. It means that you get up and keep trying.
What's the name of that? I don't know what you describe it. It's a ideology of some sort, or facet of philosophy. Humans would be happier as farmers. There's a term for this, where technology has basically ripped us from what makes us function properly. That is, working on a farm, you're lifting heavy things, so you're getting regular exercise. You are you're up early in the morning when the sun comes up. You're in bed at night.
Argarians?
I don't know.
Agrarians?
Yeah.
Agrarians?
It says importance of agriculture and farming.
Well, agrarian
way of life.
Agrarian way of life is just being a farmer.
Yeah.
There's an idea that's specifically how technology.
Pastoralism?
Something I have no idea.
We'll keep looking.
Basically, technology has created artificial scheduling, and so going back to the point where upstairs we have a whole bunch of weights, we have a power cage and all that stuff. We have to find time in the day to simulate lifting heavy things, literally lift heavy things to simulate farm work, basically, because we have removed ourselves from what humans were built for, and so now humans are largely unhappy.
Grok says the idea of pastoralism in literature and philosophy. Historically, pastoralism, or the idealized view of rural life, has been romanticized in literature and philosophy, suggesting that living closer to nature, like farmers do, could lead to a more fulfilled, happy life. This isn't a term per se, but a recurring theme. So, maybe that's the idea. But I think that you make a good point. Like Like getting up in the morning when the sun comes up, having a goal. Chickens.
Oh, having a goal.
Having a goal.
Always coming
Feeding
back
the
to
chickens, making sure the chickens are taken care of, among other things. But if you have a farm, there are things you have to do every single day.
Yeah.
I have heard from so many people, like, we got to do better promotion for Chicken City because everybody loves it.
Yeah.
So the other day I tweeted it. I tweeted it a couple times. And for those that don't know what it is, chickencitylive.com. If you want to watch chickens live their lives.
Dope.
Oh, we got
It's the Truman. Yeah, it's the Truman Show for chickens. But like a couple weeks ago, it was raining, and so I'm sitting in this box. We are in it's a 40-foot tall warehouse, and then inside the warehouse is another building. There's no windows. There's no ventilation. It's just dark all day. I mean, it's not. We have like studio lights. It's actually rather bright.
Sure.
And then I was like, I'm going to tweet out Chicken City for fun because I don't really do it. And I did. And then I opened the YouTube video and I heard the sound of rain and chickens eating and balking. And I just left it on. And I was like, dude, this is ASMR. Yeah. This is like for humans that have lost their way and are living in the city. You can hear the sounds of nature and chickens. And then I heard from a bunch of people where they were like, I had someone tell me recently, they said, yeah, when you tweeted out, I turned it on and I just forgot about it. And it was on for like 2 hours. It's kind of nice. And I'm like, humans want to live on a homestead with some animals. They want to wake up and do work. They want to think about this. I mean, all of it. Granted, like healthcare is worse. You stub your toe, you can get sepsis, right? It's miserable.
Yeah.
And so great technologies come with the way we live today. But if you go back to how people used to live on the farm, you spent your whole day with your family. Your kids were right there with you. They were helping you. You were doing the work you had to do. In fact, you had a lot of kids because you needed kids to survive. You needed family.
Yeah.
And then you'd go into town only periodically, and only like once a week or once a month would you get the Post and actually learn about what was going on. And the only news that mattered to you was whether or not it felt like there was going to be a drought this year. And then you'd wake up, there's your family, you have breakfast, you go tend to the animals, you come back, you hang out.
Those are the things that really matter. We hear people talk about it all the time. What are the most important things to you? Like the most important things, your family. The most important things, your mom, your kids, your wife, the people that are closest to you. I mean, we hear these things in all kinds of stories, and you see it in Hallmark cards and everything, But yet, at the same time, as a society, we have lost that. We have lost the focus on that. We tell people that things that are far removed from them are the most important. The things that are going on in Washington, D.C. are the most important. You've got a whole generation of young women that believe that have no intention of getting pregnant or having an abortion or not having an abortion. That's not something that they're all that worried about, but that's the most important thing to them is abortion access. Like they're not having sex, or they're in a committed relationship. That's another one that blows my mind. Women over 50 that think abortion is the most important thing. It's like, ma'am,
Loony ladies.
Ma'am, it is not important to you if abortion rights are not important to you. I understand that you got a feeling about them, but like the things that are going on in Washington, D.C. are not the things that are the most important things happening to your life. The most important things that are happening in your life are the things that happen every day, the people that you see every day, and the people you're around every day, and how you live your life. And so the idea that, something that some politician says, 1,000 miles away, how you believe, or believing that that's the most important thing going on in your life is ridiculous. And if the only reason that you can convince yourself that it is because you're missing actually important things. Your actual interpersonal relationships with your family, with your friends, those things are suffering. And so you've replaced them with things far away.
Donna S. says it's Luddism.
Luddites. Well,
it's not. The Luddites were an anti-industrialist movement. They were upset that they were going to lose their jobs to machines. So that's not what I'm referring to. It is entirely possible that you could live a modern internet-based technological life with a TV and video games and all that stuff, but have a homestead. Yep. And I think it's become quite popular actually in the past
it's growing
10 years or so.
It's definitely growing.
Yeah, like people who have regular jobs still want to have the animals and bring back a little bit and hybridize. So you're not it's not pure homesteading where you're quite literally just going to be self-reliant and go back to the old ways. But a lot of people have been like, they'll get a couple miniature goats or a mini cow, and they'll get some chickens. They'll get a couple acres where it's legal, and then they'll still have a job, but they'll come home and they'll have animals, and they'll get a large amount of their food from their garden.
Yeah.
I mean, we were into that for a while. We had a garden at the castle for a while. Yo, it is. I feel bad for people who don't eat the food they've grown for breakfast. It is an amazing thing to wake up in the morning. I would wake up, I'd walk to the front of the house, go into the garden, and I would grab a zucchini, and I would grab a handful of cherry tomatoes. Then I would grab 2 eggs right from under the chicken, and I'd make scrambled eggs with zucchini and tomatoes, just like that. It was the only thing the only thing I had to add to it was olive oil.
Oh yeah.
That was me. I didn't want the eggs to stick.
Sure.
But it was like I'm sitting there eating this, and I'm like, it doesn't really taste better, but it does taste better, you know? And then I was like, man, it's something amazing about just growing your own food.
On that aspect, I did before I started working here. I did a lot of electrical work on the side for houses, and from 2019 to I started working here, I didn't notice any in 19 or 20 or in 21, but like 22 and 23 came around. I was starting to go to people's houses that were in the rural or the urban suburban communities, and they had freaking chickens. Like in the backyard, they had a tiny little shed. They'd have tiny little sheds, and they have like 6 or 4 chickens. So it's coming back.
I've had chickens off and on from like my whole life. My parents and I lived in I grew up in Chicopee, Massachusetts, which is like very suburban. It's not in the woods, but my dad had a few acres, and my mom built a chicken coop, and we did we had them. We had chickens that we slaughtered, and I did the whole,
Oh, you did the deed?
Yeah, I did the deed myself, and it's not. I mean, it's not like something that I'm like dying to continue doing. I like the fact that I can, I have Good Ranchers delivered to my house. I like the fact that I can have that done. But at the same time, there's not like having chickens for just to get eggs. They're super low maintenance, really. Like you have to clean out the coop every once in a while or whatever. But like
Not ours.
you just leave them. They have a coop.
Well, the what we had built for the first chicken city was we had a sewer system for the chickens.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Didn't they always poop in it too? Remember you always talking on the TV about pooping in it?
In the sewer system?
No, Jesus, never mind.
What?
Never mind.
It didn't work so well. So you don't really have to clean them out too much depending on what it is. But if it's like a small with a lot of chickens and it's inside, then you do. But we have an outside system. Mm-hmm. So you've got to do some cleaning. But for the most part, the chickens just poop in the grass. Or you can go with the Thomas Massey model, the Klux capacitor. It is a solar-powered chicken coop that slowly moves across the grass. And so the chickens are always staying on fresh grass. And Thomas was saying, Representative Massey, that the grass behind it is always really tall and lush because the chickens dump all over the place and then keep moving. They eat the grass, and then it grows back thicker and fuller than the surrounding grass. It's amazing. Yeah.
He's a smart man. Thomas Massey knows what he's talking about.
Indeed. Too bad he wasn't going to be agriculture secretary.
Yeah, it would be cool to see him as a.
So how about we do this? How about we terrify all the leftists by instituting mandatory basic training for everybody at the age of 17?
Love it.
Hey, that's what they do in Singapore, and you know that. It's great there. Everyone has a job. They become either a police officer, a firefighter. They do public service work. They become police officers, for instance, they say, oh, police officers become wicked because they're always in the police force. Well, in Singapore, they solved that because they leave the police force after they become like 23, 24, 25. So I don't see why that's the bad thing. And I don't see why all the lefties would be mad about that. They love, social services. They love big civil projects and stuff, right? So why would they be mad about that? I don't get it.
They would only be better when they got out. They'd only be better human beings after the 3 months they were in there.
I remember when Rahm Emanuel got elected, he was saying that he was in favor of 3-month basic training for all Americans at 18 or something. And I was like, yeah, right. Back then I was like, you're not going to make me do anything. I refuse, Now I'm older and I'm like, yeah, maybe I didn't need it back then, but now I can see exactly why most people do. And I actually now I'd be totally for it. Like, it's funny because when I was younger, I was like, I can do whatever I want. I just get on the train and go skateboard. Now I'm older and I'm like, I should hire a personal trainer.
Yeah.
Like skateboarding isn't enough.
Yeah.
I get 2 hours of exercise. My heart rate is maxed out the whole time, which is probably not good, but it's great cardio. But I've been trying to throw in more pull-ups as often as I can and push-ups and lifting as often as I had a trainer earlier the year and I was lifting, but dude, the workload is brutal. Yeah. It's like yesterday. We were leaving on Friday to Arizona, and then we got Christmas. So I don't know when I'm going to get a chance to work out. Hopefully at the hotel or something. Maybe get on the treadmill. But I'm getting done at like 4 or 5 o'clock, and then I have to go eat and come right back to do work again. I'm like, dang, and for a lot of people, there was this viral post where a guy's like, he's like a picture of me when I started my job, and then a picture 2 years later, and he's just morbidly obese. And he was like, because the job was all sitting down and he never got to move. And I'm like, that's an excuse, dude. Your salary position was not stopping you from getting to a gym for an hour every day before or after work. You can make it work. You can go home. You can do that exercise. I exercise here. One of the reasons we built the skate park is I like it, but it's a great way of staying fit and staying in shape.
It is.
But working 16-hour days is a bit different. I still find time to exercise, and I still throw down push-ups if I can't get anything done, because you always have time for push-ups. So
yeah,
pull-ups too. You got to get a pull-up bar.
Yeah, we're gonna put a pull-up bar in the studio door, and because this is what I used to do when I went with my roommates. It's called paying taxes.
Oh yeah.
So you put a pull-up bar, and anybody who wants to come in has to do one solid pull-up, all the way up, all the way down, and then you can come in. When you want to leave, same deal. With limited exception. I think the ladies are largely exempt from it. They can do knee-ups. I mean,
women are weak and small.
Well, I'm not trying to be a dick or anything, but I think women can't really do pull-ups, right?
I mean, some can.
If they train a lot. Like,
yeah.
Your average, well, actually.
And chin-ups are different than pull-ups for them,
right.
For anyone.
I was going to say your average guy could probably do a pull-up, but I don't know if that's true anymore.
No, not average now.
Exactly. I was like, there was a point where the average guy could easily do a couple pull-ups. Now the average guy certainly cannot.
I don't think I think the average American, I think, is overweight. Like, the average person is overweight. And so I don't imagine that the average guy can do pull-ups. I think, maybe 40% of the population, the male population, can actually do a pull-up.
I think 40% of the population are obese, so that's and that's just obese, not overweight. So yeah 100% right.
Eric Reeves in the regular chat says, I hate to tell you, Tim, reading the news isn't work. Go work a construction job for 12 hours and then go work out. If you work a construction job, you are getting exercise. And a lot of these construction, unless you're in like the manager's office. I worked for 2 years at American Airlines Regional, where we would lift 50,000 pounds per day. Isn't that crazy?
That's nuts.
Because you're lifting all the bags.
Yeah.
And it was wild. It's like 35 to 50,000 pounds per day you lift. Not all at once, obviously. But you've got, with a single plane, you could have 30 to 40, 60-pound bags. Yeah. And then you're offloading and loading both. And sometimes there's two carts. And then if you're working in the bag room, you're just lifting. So we actually did the average based on how we load the planes. And when you get the flight manifest for the load, it's like, man, that's actually crazy how much we lift every single day. It's pretty nuts.
Yeah.
So you're getting your exercise if you're doing physical labor, and things like that.
Right.
So I'm not super concerned about a dude who's actually using his body for a job.
Yeah, sometimes.
Then it's diet.
Yeah. Like sometimes here, all depends on what the day is. I do not need to work out based on the activities for the task.
Carrying all those pizzas in on Fridays.
Yeah, well, Fridays,
heavy,
Fridays I relax.
13 pizzas,
13.
It's a lot.
That's a bad, scary number, though.
Yeah, but I would also add, too, I love this. Reading the news isn't work. Go work a construction job. Man, I got to tell you, dude, this is the most work I've ever done in my life. I'm not saying it's the worst work. It pays the best, that's for sure. But, man... guys, when I used to work at the airline, you do a lot of physical labor, but you also have a 45-minute downtime from when the plane is sitting before you have to load it, and everyone's playing Xbox. And then you leave. You get there at 5:30, you leave at 1:30. And that's your day. And if you need to make more money, you got to work more. And I was working double shifts for sure. But this job, I think people need to understand that I don't just read the news. We have 10 different companies. We've got 40 plus employees and contractors. We've got like 5 different lawyers. We've got lawsuits. Yo, it's brutal.
And what's their definition of work? Like your brain's getting used all the time.
Yeah.
Whereas they can sit around, you don't have to think about a thing. You just pick things up and put them down. Two different. No, I'm saying there's two different worlds. The same work is work.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be manual labor.
It's just, I mean, he's being a little,
I understand. I like,
his line of work compared to what other people's line of work.
Sure.
And if he wants to be like I have physical exertion elitism, then he can have his physical
Yeah,
exertion.
cool. Good for
He's
you.
an elitist.
That's the
I
that's the
agree.
same impulse. It's like, oh, you're not actually working.
Yeah.
I'm working because I'm doing physical labor. Well, okay.
Yeah.
If that's how you measure work, then
Yeah,
fine.
man.
I don't work either. But
That's right.
I still like I like my job and I like the things that I do. And if it upsets you that I don't work and I can still pay my bills, good.
Yeah, man. Whatever lets him sleep at night, man.
Yeah,
Whatever help him go to
whatever you
sleep.
need.
Yeah.
Whatever pays the bills too.
Yeah, true. 100%.
I mean, do you think that being in a band and traveling all the time and playing rock concerts
It's so easy.
is real work? He probably would say no,
Yeah.
and I don't care.
How about being a pro athlete?
That's
Yeah.
that's more physicality than being in a band. That's for sure. Those guys are to be top level pro athletes. You're out there like breaking a sweat every single day.
This is why I call skateboarding the lowest form of sports, because pro skateboarders are probably the worst athletes.
Yeah.
Not kidding. Like you look at the Olympics and it's like these are people who, not all of them, but skateboarding has very few people who are like, I've got to stretch and stay hydrated. You look at all the other Olympic sports and these people are figurative slaves, right? Some of these kids, so I knew a kid who was training for the Olympics. He had no choice in anything. They'd wake up at the crack of dawn. They'd force him to eat things that he didn't want to eat. He had to do what he was told. Then it's like 100 push-ups, now go. And it was just until he had a mental breakdown. You look at skateboarding and it's like some dude eating a cheeseburger and smoking cigarettes and then wearing khakis, and then they're as good as they could be, and then all of a sudden they find themselves in these big teams. That's going to change real soon. I keep telling all my friends in skating, like these pros, guys, we are probably 10 years away from pro skateboarders wearing unitards. You think that North Korea or China care about your culture? No. They want to win gold medals, and they're going to make their athletes do and wear whatever they have to win. But the Olympics so far for skateboarding has largely been, well, wear what you feel like wearing.
So your prediction is based off the Olympics?
Well, I mean, what other Olympic sport allows people to literally wear anything they want and eat whatever they want and do whatever? Like none. They're all heavily regimented.
Yeah.
Maybe snowboarding is a bit more lax, but still rather serious. Look, man, these big sponsors are going to come in and they're going to say, we don't want to give you money if you're going to show up stoned.
Yeah.
Now the guys in the Olympics, they're probably not smoking. They're probably taking it a little bit more serious. But man, I know professional skateboarders, some of the most famous, and there has been a movement where they're like, we're going to stop drinking and smoking and get healthy. Shout out to Neen Williams, who really setting a great example for this. He's a younger guy. He was smoking and drinking a whole lot, and then he got clean. And now he's a fitness influencer and pro skateboarder. Oh. And he's ripped. And he's got a great burger company called NADC Burger that's like taking the Chicago and Austin by storm. So shout out. Right. I'm a big fan of like people getting clean and setting a good example.
I had a friend of mine. He's an older guy now, but he played for the Toronto Maple Leafs in, I think, the early 60s. And he tells the story that over the summer before the season, the team sent out a notice and they said that in order to come into training camp, he had to be able to do like 20 push-ups and run a mile.
That seems pretty
pretty
low bar.
Right. And then we think about what's happened today with all the training now. And so I think it just goes to Tim's point about how maybe skateboarding's like that today, but what's coming in 10 years? How's this going to progress? I think he's right. I think it could look a lot different. And so that was just something that came to mind when he was talking about that.
It's true. Like the way that sports evolves, you kind of can't predict what's going to happen because when there are game changers that come into the game, like there's been multiple people that have come to a sport and they had to change all the rules because this person just like when Shaq got into basketball, he just changed they had to change a ton of rules.
Hey, breaking rims.
You know,
left and right.
because he just was this gigantic guy, and they had to change the rules because of it. And I can't think of any others off the top of my head, but I know there are multiple people that, you know, they get into a sport and it's like, all right, well, we have to change the way that the sport is played because of this one person on this one team, and because they change the way the sport is played, that means they have to change the rules. So what? Go ahead.
Go ahead. I was gonna say Tom Brady, the tuck rule. That's your boy. You
Yeah.
know? So he was so good
Yep.
that they had to change. They had to give him the tuck rule.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, that kind of stuff does happen. So you never can tell how things are gonna progress in the future. So.
We're going to go to Super Chat. So if you haven't already, would you kindly smash that like button, share the show with everyone you know, become a member over at timcast.com to support our work, and you'll get access to that uncensored show coming up at 10 p.m. This one should be fun. Should be very fun. But let's read your Super Chats. You can follow me on X and Instagram at Timcast. Polly Puree says, am I first? Indeed, madame, you are. Congratulations. The Bainza says, second. Chickens were robbed. Last party, no treats. Whoa.
We fixed it. I wasn't there for that, but I apparently went down 5 hours prior to my notification that I got.
Yeah.
So,
But it's up and running now.
So then we owe you one. I'll let Christopher know.
Has the music been playing and everything?
During the day, but not today when it shut down.
All right. Britt Griffith Mower Racing says, please, please, please let me wrap my second racing mower for Cast Brew. I want that Phil artwork on the hood.
Oh, that'd be tight, Phil.
That'd be great.
Well, how did we get it set up last time? I don't know.
I think Jessica did it. I can talk to her about it.
Yeah, we'll figure it out, and we'll put Santa Phil on the
That's
front.
awesome.
Yeah,
That'd be hilarious. That'd be great. I'd love it.
All right. Heavy Arms Kai says, we need a 2 weeks Christmas song.
2 weeks.
You just got to add more verses and redo it, but it's about Christmas now.
Change it into a Christmas song. All right.
What have we indeed here? Zig says, please have on Sleazy P. Martini, manager of Virginia Metal Legends Guar with Levanti, maybe on a Culture War episode.
That would be crazy.
I don't know Sleazy. We've done a lot of shows with the guys in Guar. I know, a couple of the guys because they've had some member changes and stuff, and we toured with them a long time ago. But they are an absolute joy to be around. They're wonderful guys and tons of fun. So,
Dude, he's a wild person.
Sleazy P. Martini.
Yeah.
He does a stream, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
He gets in the whole
The whole getup and everything like he used to. Yeah.
Yeah.
Raybert G. Stanbert Jr. says, based gingerbread coffee for the win. Hope it arrives before Christmas to ensure the house can smell like Christmas.
Hopefully, fingers crossed. I think it does.
I've
think-
heard good things about that.
Do we have any coming here?
I can
I have
bring
zero
it back
idea.
if you need.
Was that?
I can bring it back when it gets them to. Well, actually, I mean,
No one's going to be here.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Katoth says, holy Christ, is Serge actually talking?
Yep.
Yeah.
2 days in a row, ladies and gentlemen. 2 days.
It just built up. He had something to say.
Yeah.
All right. Raybert G. Stanbert says, Junior, based gingerbread coffee for the win. I hope it arrives. Oh, I read that one already. I had to read it again. It was too good.
That's good.
Ray Barrett.
Stoned Ape says, first super chat ever, abolish Pride Month, replace it with Veterans Month. Good sir, July is MAGA month. Yeah. The month of July is mega month.
We'll take June.
June is pre-mega month. We have to get ready to make America great again. Vexcoon says, they killed Star Wars, Star Trek, Doctor Who, and Lord of the Rings, to name a few for me. And don't get me started on some video games.
Yeah. It's unfortunate. I like the fact that they had to insert political ideology into Star Wars was a drag. In my opinion, there's a couple movies that were good. Like Rogue One was great, and that was totally sans political opinions, and it had a female heroine that was like the main character,
And it made sense.
and it was great. It was great writing, but the biggest problem is that these movies that they're shoving the message into, they have bad writers. Because you can still tell a good story and actually have a message if you want, if you have a good writer. But it seems that finding a good quality writer became secondary, and all of these properties suffered for it, which is a shame.
Yeah.
All right. We've got Real Hydro PX. Oh, it's the actual one, huh?
Hi.
Tim, why won't you ever read an article from one of your amazing journalists? Why do you use all sources but not from your own website? We don't have a news site. So I'm glad that's cleared up. There are no articles for me to read from. That could explain it.
You did for a while.
We did, and we used the newsroom for almost every night on the show.
Yes, yeah.
But we no longer have a newsroom. Gnell says, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, you basteds. We need a documentary called Where the White Women At. Could be huge, bigger than What is a Woman and My Racist combined.
Shout out G-Nails.
Yeah, Gino's coming in strong lately with the super chats.
There you go.
Solid.
Lurch says, the obsession with anti-Semitism is dumb. Jewish people are not entitled to be liked.
Sure. Yeah.
I think the conflation of Israel criticism with anti-Semitism is really annoying, because clearly, like, Dave Smith is not angry at Jewish people. Then there are some people who clearly hate Jewish people and Israel, and largely because of what Israel does, they then conflate it with Jews. And then there are people who just outright don't like Jews. I generally don't like people who have based their worldviews off of characteristics like that. If there's a legitimate criticism based on the actions of a particular person or an organization or corporation or whatever, or even a cultural group or religion, whatever it may be, that's totally fine. I just don't care for people who make their whole personality about one group of people. I don't care if it's the 1%. I don't care if it's fascists and white supremacists or the Jews. It's like, my friends, there's a whole world out there of powerful interests that do bad things, and they come in all shapes and sizes. So it's like, if someone came here and was, Jon Stewart was talking about, well, Hollywood is disproportionately Jewish, I'd be like, he's not wrong. So my critique of Hollywood does have an overlap in that regard, but I don't think it's because they're Jewish. And then if someone were, and also the banks are run by Irish people, which is really funny, because we pulled up the CEOs of all these banks. And then if someone came out and said, Islam as a religion in the Hadith says to kill Jews, and I'm like, it certainly does, but that doesn't mean I'm going to hold it against an individual Muslim person on any other regard if they're opening a bank or something. Yeah. So I think criticism where criticism is due, and merit where merit is due, respect where respect is due. And we want to criticize the elements of all these things that are bad. I think Christianity has some bad stuff in it, but Christians had a Reformation and an Enlightenment, and that's a good thing. So that's what we want to do. We want to focus on the good, and we want to critique the bad, and everybody's capable of good and bad, all that stuff. But I do agree, there's a lot of people that claim there are people who are very pro-Israel and will literally say everything's anti-Semitic. Like, again, Dave Smith being called anti-Semitic because he criticizes Israel is stupid. You're allowed to criticize governments. All right, enough of that. It's also really annoying because when things get into the Israel-Palestine stuff, it's kind of just like, we get it. I'm like, and then we got to talk about Ukraine, and it's like, oh, geez. All right. Saravia says, far left and far right are both socialists, just different on how they control society. Left is anti-national identity. Right uses national identity. Ginger Jack says, since Hasan came up, perhaps you should play Twitch or terrorist. You should be able to find the site in the search. Wait, really?
I'm Googling right now.
Is that like a quote and they have to figure out if it came from a Twitch streamer or a terrorist? Because that sounds hilarious. We should play that in the members only.
That'd be fun.
Is that a thing?
Twitch or terrorist.
Please tell me that's an actual site.
It is.
Is it just one insult though?
Let's see. Well, I'm
or are there quotes?
Don't cheat, Phil.
I'm putting it into the Slack right now.
If it's like a thing where it gives you a quote and then you have to pick whether it came from a Twitch streamer or a terrorist, that'd be hilarious. But if it's just like insulting Hasan, it's like, okay, well, whatever.
I'm looking. Let's see. The first thing that came up, it brought up a picture of Hasan and a picture of Osama bin Laden. Let's see.
Corporate wants you to find the difference.
Yeah, it's a quote. America has done nothing for you specifically.
Okay, wait. Okay, I get it. We'll play this in the members only. This is going to be fun.
Perfect. There's a
It'll give
time
us
limit
something
on
to
it
do.
too. It's great.
All right. Good. Let's grab some more super chats. David M says Christmas decorations go up right after Halloween. No!
How dare you, sir? You're fired.
Thanksgiving is pumpkin pie time. But what is eggnog the whole season? Like you could do eggnog.
I've never had it before Christmas. It's always
yeah. It's always Christmas?
Yeah. My whole life at least.
I'm pretty sure all the eggnog I've ever had has been like wrong.
Yeah, I think
and it's not supposed to be so thick. You're supposed to like mix it with something and like rum.
I don't drink it really.
Yeah, I've never actually had a real eggnog with rum in it.
You take eggnog. You can also take eggnog and then just cut it with milk, and that kind of thins it out a little bit. Especially if you use skim milk.
What is eggnog?
I
It's
don't
like egg yolks and milk.
I'll Google that
something like
too.
Serge has got to know. You
I don't know. It's got nutmeg
Nobody
in it or
knows.
something.
No one knows.
Yeah. Polly Puree says goose is the Christmas bird. Oh, goose. Then what's pheasant?
I don't know.
It's made with milk, cream, sugar, egg yolks, and whipped egg whites.
Huh.
And the mixture is
sounds
often
like
flavored with spices
custard.
like cinnamon, nutmeg, and cloves,
And
giving
it's
it a warm and
supposed to be
comforting
good.
aroma.
It sounds like if I put that in an ice cream machine, it's just ice cream.
Yeah,
you
Freeze
know-
it up a little bit.
Custard.
Yeah.
Frozen custard.
If you put it in the freezer, it's probably going to turn into
Ice.
Into, well, I mean, no, not ice. It'll turn into like ice cream.
It won't.
Not going to be.
Pause.
You have to churn it to make ice cream. But the cream the cream won't turn to ice. But that's
It'll
why.
separate.
Yeah. So the ice cream, we have an ice cream machine, and it's a you freeze the bowl and then you put it in, and it's got a like a plastic arm, and it spins. And so when you pour if you were to pour eggnog in it, it freezes on the edge, and the scraper pulls off the edge, and it whips it.
We got that at the Kessel.
Right. Yeah. Otherwise, what happens is you just get a hard bowl, and you're like hitting it, and then it's fatty, so it's not like ice, but it's not like good ice cream where you can just scoop it up. And then we have the tabletop one too, where it's a flat metal sheet, and then you pour the cream on it, and you take the scrapers,
Oh, yeah,
like
spread
they
it out.
do at the
Yeah.
Cold Stone.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah. Making ice cream is based AF. Also, you got to get chickens. Just as an aside.
That's the theme of
The
that's
theme of Timcast IRL.
Yeah, it's get chickens.
The tagline is "Chickens are based." Timcast IRL, where chickens are based. We have the new skateboard coming out, the 28th Amendment. That should be available in a week or so, and it is a board, and it just looks like script and like old parchment paper, and it says,
Have you showed the people yet?
I don't think so.
Okay.
But they'll see it. It's got the best little doodle of a chicken ever, and it says, chickens being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep, bear, and breed chickens shall not be infringed. And I believe it should be an amendment. Although, if we actually did have an amendment like that, it would be for the purpose of livestock in general. But then it'd be kind of a problem if people had cows in their apartments in New York. But hey, a right's a right. It's pretty wild. I don't think the founding fathers even thought they needed to enshrine the right to have animals. Isn't that crazy?
True, because they figured it was just what it was.
Well, but like in America, America is a free country. So like the whole idea of being free means you can do whatever the hell you want unless it's prohibited. Right. The reason why they had the Second Amendment was not because that you needed to grant people the right to keep and bear arms. It was to specifically say to the government, you cannot touch this right. When you are in a free country, you don't need permission. You don't need stuff. You don't need protections. You're just free to do whatever you want, anything at all. That's what free means. We live in a country now full of people that assume they have to ask permission to do things. They assume that the government grants you permission to do stuff when in reality the government is supposed to be restricted and limited by the Constitution, and the things that are not expressly and powers that are not expressly given to the federal government doesn't have. In fact, there's an amendment that says that. It's the 10th Amendment says if it's not expressly given to the federal government, then the powers are retained to the states or to the people.
And leftists out there, you can do whatever you want, but there are certain things you can't do because their laws will not allow you to do that. You can't just go around hurting people.
Well, that comes with
You have the freedom.
Every freedom comes with responsibility.
Yes.
You don't have the right to infringe on someone else's rights. You don't have the right to hurt someone or destroy someone else's property. It's not yours. These are things that, honestly, the concepts are not complex. They're not difficult to understand. And once you hear someone articulate it, it's like, oh, well, yeah, I mean, that makes sense. Of course, just because you're free doesn't mean you can just take other people's shit,
Yeah.
Pardon my French.
Hoorah.
The French have a naughty language.
They do.
No, I just mean like anytime anytime anybody says something bad, they accuse the French.
Yeah, you say like CUNT and you're like, oh, pardon my French.
Yeah, just literally any nasty thing you can say is the French. It's the French's fault.
Naughty language.
Well, French fries.
Well, that changes like country to country. Like
All
a
right.
different country is like the rival country will talk crap about them basically.
Lillian May Briggs says, 4th of July song, first line, start the barbecue and gather round. Let me tell you a story about an experiment called America. Now someone give me the next line. We can write that. Start the grill and gather round. Let me tell you a story
about how this country was found.
Boom! The rock star nails it in a matter of seconds.
Look, the
You must be a
words-
musician.
The words just come out. You know, the words just come out.
The British came and they left fast because we were so tough. Look, kiss my ass.
We kicked their ass.
Yeah, we kicked that.
But so I think the song would have to be more like, the Christmas songs are about our experience during Christmas. It's not a there are Christmas songs where it's like, the Lord has come and things like this, but those are more traditional faith based.
Yeah.
The modern rock Christmas songs are like Jingle Bell Rock. You know what I mean? I saw Mommy Kissing Santa Claus.
Underneath the mistletoe.
So we need something like I saw a 4-star general launching fireworks in my yard or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Something like that.
That'd be sick.
I saw Mommy kissing George Washington. Well, George Washington comes to every good American's house to promise them freedom and leaves a copy of the Bill of Rights and the Constitution. Tripping Over Trauma says, my country, 'tis of thee. I heard that the Star Spangled Banner is a Weird Al style cover parody.
Wait, what? Say what?
Francis Scott Key took an existing song and just wrote new words for it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's true.
Better words.
So, it's copyright infringement.
Yeah.
Better words. The story of the Star Spangled Banner is actually really cool.
Yeah, when he
There
was
was
actually
a
in.
flag, and the soldiers kept pulling it back
Yes.
up, and when the cannon fire would go off, you'd see the flag in the distance.
And the dude was there, like on the ground.
Yeah.
It's fucking amazing.
I think he was a
Effing
prisoner on
amazing.
a ship, wasn't he?
Yes.
Yes.
Was he a prisoner?
Yeah,
But he was
cool.
seeing it. He
Yeah.
can eyeballs.
And you would see the flashes and the light, and the flag was still there. Based.
Yeah, let's go, America.
Who say does that Star Spangled Banner yet? Well,
America's the best.
it is.
Forward the line. Fuck the bad people. Democrats, leftists, you're done.
All right, let's grab this one from, what have we here? Unfiltered Aquarist says, it's called failing forward. You learn and grow with just attempting new things.
True. True.
Based.
Smoke Detectors with Attitude says, I no longer wish people Merry Christmas, but instead, I now wish people I respect very based Christmas Timcast.
Base Christmas back at yeah.
It's Seamus's fault that we all say based now. Because he came to the show and he kept saying it, and we were saying it ironically, and now we say it.
And you used to do the based AF too.
I still say based AF. Chickens are based AF.
I guess there's a level.
Yeah. Ghosts of Corey Bing Bong says a Thanksgiving banger exists. It's called Alice's Restaurant by Arlo Guthrie. It's like 20 minutes long. Amazing story. Movie sucks. Don't watch.
Doesn't shock me that an Arlo Guthrie song is 20 minutes
I
long.
was gonna say Guthrie song.
Who's that guy? What's he do?
What other
I mean, he
holidays?
sings. I understand, but
He's an artist.
okay.
I'm not sure of the any songs that are off the top of my head.
Would I know any?
Would you say, Tim?
What other holidays are there?
That you might have music for or need music for? I mean,
General?
I feel like basically every song is already a Valentine's Day song.
yeah, you know who's probably
Because
got-
it's either
okay.
it's either just like whorish degeneracy or it's love songs.
Or is degeneracy?
there's a lot of love songs.
Yeah, so you don't really need a Valentine's Day one. And then what's next? St. Patty's Day?
St. Patty's Day, yeah, you're drinking.
pa-
There's always
Dropkick-
songs about drinking.
Dropkick,
Murphys.
Drunken Lullabies.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's-
Yeah.
all of the Dropkick Murphys catalog.
literally.
Entire catalog is
That's it.
St. Patrick's Day
We got the Russian national anthem for May Day. Or
Labor
the
Day.
Soviet, the Soviet.
or Labor Day.
What about we have Memorial
May
Day?
Day, 5th of May. The workers.
No, I'm saying Labor Day.
Is that labor the same?
No,
No.
May Day and Labor Day are different. May Day is not a holiday. May Day is leftists going around and smashing things.
Oh, okay.
Labor Day is a recognized holiday,
Right.
and when we celebrate labor, we play the Soviet.
Someone
national
keeps bringing up Metallica's "Don't Tread on Me," which is actually a good good call.
Yeah.
Do we have a Memorial Day song
it.
about the? I'm sure we do, right? Glenn, the
I mean,
Green
any
Wall
song,
guy.
any song about fallen souls.
Yeah,
is,
yeah.
You know.
Proud to be an American. At least I know I'm free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's 4th of July song as well, Tim. So yeah, we got a couple.
All right. What do we got over here in the old super chats? Joshua French says, Phil, your coffee should have been crayon flavored. What is everyone's favorite crayon flavor? I'm pretty sure it's all just wax.
Yeah.
Orange.
I think only Marines can actually taste the nuanced differences between.
Don't eat crayons.
Is there, you liked purple on PCC the other day. You were saying purple's your shit. Ish.
The Elvin Airman says, everyone talks about the right to bear arms, but no one ever asks where do the bear arms come from. We must think of the bears. Yes, that's right. The right, that's a funny Family Guy joke where they're like, how could anyone misconstrue this? The right to bear arms, a pair of bear arms to put on your wall. The right to bear arms shall not be infringed. That's why we have the Boonies skateboard at boonieshq.com. The right to arm bears, literally right behind me. How do I point? There we wait
With your finger.
There we go.
Perfect.
I got it. There it is.
Nice.
I'm pointing in the wrong direction, but it works on camera. And it is a bear, and I don't know why he's wearing a flannel or a hat, but he has a shotgun of some sort. So it is based.
It looks good.
The right to arm. That was Sam's idea. He made so that's one of his pro model boards, as well as the boobies,
This one here.
which is the one behind Raymond, and it's a blue-footed booby bird, and they're very silly birds that aren't scared of humans, and so people find them hilarious.
Sam is killing the boards.
He's got good ideas. Big 7588 says Thunderstruck. Oh yeah, Thunderstruck. AC/DC is fantastic. All right, everybody, smash the like button, share the show with everyone you know, become a member by going to timcast.com because we're going to play Twitch or Terrorist.
Can't wait.
And let's see how well we do on this game show, ladies and gentlemen. Can we figure out who said it, Osama bin Laden or Hasan Piker? It'll be fun. You can follow me on X and Instagram at Timcast. Again, timcast.com. Click join us. It will be on the front page in about a minute or so. Smash the like button. And Sam, you want to shout anything out?
No, not much to say, but thanks for having me. It was a good time to be here and looking forward to the game.
Yeah,
Where can people get your
Do you
new
have a
book?
book or something?
Yeah, I have a book. It's called Saving Sam. It's everywhere books are sold. Amazon, Barnes & Noble. Want to check it out. That's where you can find it.
Right on.
Awesome.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Raymond G. Stanley Jr. I do things for a living. Conscription is based. That's what we should do. Save America, save the youth. Mr. Phil.
I am Phil That Remains on X, where you can subscribe to my X page. I'm Phil That Remains Official on Instagram. The band is All That Remains. And on January 31st, 2025, we have our 10th full-length record going to be released. Nice. It is entitled Anti-Fragile. You can go to my X page and the pin tweet. You can pre-order. And if you go to, what is it? Amazon, YouTube, Amazon Music, Apple Music, Spotify, Pandora, and Deezer. You can check out 4 songs from that record. Forever Cold, Let You Go, No Tomorrow, and Divine. They're all available on the aforementioned streaming platforms. And don't forget, The Left Lane is for Crime.
All right, everybody, we will see you all over at timcast.com in about 1 minute. Thanks for hanging out.